Aloha, friends. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's author Joe Holt. This is another Fireside Chat number 51. And it's my buddy Eric Wilson. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hello, Sir Joe Holt. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. Appreciate it.
Actually, I'm not a sir anymore. I was knighted twice, but I turned that shit in when I demitted from the Freemasons. So you could just call me Joe now.
All right, hey, fair,
This
fair point.
I
Sounds good.
collected. I actually collected names for a while. It was the Reverend Sir Joseph Michael Holt, Senior Sergeant, USMC, retired. Yes, and now it's just most people call me Aloha Joe, but for legal reasons, as a streamer, author Joe Holt.
Excellent.
Yeah. But so the first question of the show: how'd you come up with your name, Eric Wilson? Did you
That's
come up with your name, Eric Wilson?
no, I didn't. That was chosen for me.
Okay, all right,
Yep,
all right,
yep,
all right. By your parents, I would presume.
yep. I wanted to keep it simple when I started on Steam. I just wanted to have something easy to spell, easy to remember. Because I
Makes sense.
people start getting into like the hacker code and like the
Hmm.
three instead of the e, and it's how do you explain that easily? Hey, yeah, hacker 1742, threes instead of e's, man. Like,
And you and I are just like Eric and Joe.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. How'd you
yeah.
come with your name? I didn't. By the way, guys, this is our first X Tag Fireside Chat, the whole thing, because Eric and I are avid consumers of marijuana. And I've had it as a medicine now for 17 years, so you can't tell me it's not. And I don't care if it was medicine. You know what I mean? If it makes you feel better, what's the problem, right? But according to DLive community standards, if you're going to smoke marijuana on stream, you have to be X tag. We're X tag. So, cheers.
Cheers. I've been smoking the whole time, man. It's legal here in Michigan. It's been legal since 2008 medically. So, and then they just went recreational this year.
Yeah, I live in a state where it's medical, and it's the South, so the laws are not based on like facts, but on religion, which sucks because like for me in the state that I'm in, I can't even grow my own medicine, which is insane as a medical
Hmm.
patient to not be like it's in the tomato family. You know what I like? I could plant a seed, grow it, eat the flower. Who cares? But that's not legal here. So seventh state. I've been a legal patient in 7 states, and I've seen this over and over and over. And it takes years to get it through. Then they get it through. Then
Hmm.
it takes about 2 years for things to kind of come online.
Hmm.
Right? Whether recreational or
Yep.
medical, it doesn't matter. It takes a couple years, and then everybody goes, "Oh, actually, crime's down. Opioid deaths are down. Uh, Tax revenues up. Like, oh, it's a good thing. Oh, okay." You're like, anyway.
Right. There's the area that I'm in has been dedicated. The city specifically picked an area like a square mile, 1 mile by 1 mile area that's just the prices are lower. There's not a whole lot of development, and they said that's the area in the city that we're going to allow dispensaries at. All of a sudden, overnight, the price of that property just tripled. Price
Mm.
of the all that entire property tripled, and I'm a block away from the edge of it. There's two stores within 2 blocks going in from here
So do
now.
you own the land you're on? Because
No,
that would be sweet.
no,
But what you're saying
no.
is you could get like some sweet herb just by like walking around the corner.
Yeah, I don't support it though. I don't support it to be honest.
Oh, okay. I mean, we
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
we don't have to get into particulars, but here in some states I have, and in some states I haven't. Primarily, I have. If it's possible, I try to promote the legality of it, right? Even if it's fucked
Hmm.
up, because that's how we get it opened up more and more and more, right? I think the more you're subversive with it, Not you personally, but in general, I've seen people be subversive with it, right? And that's not helpful to people who actually need it as medicine.
Hmm.
It can actually keep people from having medicine that they need. So I try to be respectful, but at the same time, I've been to states where it's not legal. I'm not going to not have my medicine.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if
Right.
my one of my brothers right now, he's blind, glaucoma, he's having seizures, like he's a prime candidate to have medical marijuana, except the state where he lives, that's not a thing. Like, really? Like, I don't know. I've never understood that. In
No.
the history of cannabis, which is thousands of years of written like human history, it's only been illegal a very small fraction of that time, and most of that time has been now. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
clearly documented as something that humans have been consuming. Humans have an endocannabinoid system in our bodies. So do horses. So do dogs.
More of those receptors than any other kind of receptor. Is that right?
I don't know about that for sure, but I can say that the reason that marijuana works so well for healing so many different ailments is that what it actually does is helps the cells to function more optimally, no matter what type of cell, right? It just helps your body
Hmm.
function more optimally, which promotes healing, because healing, the body heals itself. Medicine is just to help set the parameters for your body to heal itself.
Hmm.
I didn't know this was gonna be so technical. I thought we were just gonna be a bunch of stoners, man. Like, you know, no, it's actually that's funny to say, but also I think
I
important, right? Because so many
I
people
think
think,
it's important to know what you're doing and know what you're involved with, and show an interest in learning about what you're involved with, and for all the years that we've had to defend it, we've kind of built a little bit of a storyline going along with our story of why we do it. I was the one person in my family that was doing it for a while, and no one else in my direct family are really into it. And I had to kind of stake the flag in the dirt a little bit of saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to be hiding from you. I'm going to show up and occasionally I like it. I do it. I'm not ashamed of it. And this is what I do. And I took a lot of shit up until it was legalized. And then it's like, well, they can't be, they now all of a sudden it's cool. And that's another story all alone. But
well, I mean, we got plenty of time. Like I was gonna say, I got medically retired from the military in 2002. In 2003, my my VA medical doctor, so a federal doctor, sent me to a civilian doctor to seek alternative forms of pain management, is what he said. And I said, well,
mhm. That's
okay,
his way of
right, but
skirting the law.
no, but hold on. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Sure.
I never had marijuana. I didn't know he was even talking about marijuana. So I went to a doctor, a Harvard, I found my own doctor. He was a Harvard educated medical doctor. I thought, well, this guy's obviously, smart and we could talk. So I bring in like a legit, medical file, like encyclopedia size medical file. And the guy was like, "Yeah, we don't need all that. Like, is your back hurt? Do you have a scar? Like, do you have trouble sleeping? We can get you a prescription." And he gave me the marijuana, and I didn't take it right away because I was a young father, and I'd been working for the federal government, right? So I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, well, that's not allowed." And he goes, "Well, it is allowed because the states get to make their own laws." And the federal government just supposed to oversee the national stuff, right? Not meddle in the affairs of the states. So I read all the laws. The end of the law in California said within tolerance of local law enforcement. So technically, even though it's legal state-wise, the state law actually said within tolerance of local law enforcement, which means if there's no tolerance, it's not legal, right? So there were certain places that you went that if the sheriff saw you with marijuana, they're going to arrest you, even if you were a medical patient, right? That was in 2003. So I was still really concerned about being a medical marijuana patient.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the VA now classified me as being a drug addict, right? Like, I won't take their prescription narcotics, but because I admit to using medical marijuana, now I'm a drug addict. And it was
Mm-hmm.
that way in my medical file for like 15 years. Like, only in
Mm-hmm.
the last couple of years have they taken away marijuana dependency, right, and drug addict, and they're starting to look at it, I guess, like medicine. I don't know. They know it's medicine. The federal government holds a patent on marijuana as medicine. Like, it's
You talking like Marinol?
no, fuck no. Fuck no. Marinol kills people. Marinol,
No
for those
shit.
that don't know, Marinol, now that's my opinion for legal reasons. I have to say that. Not based on any fact, of course, other than my friends that it's killed. But Marinol is a synthetic marijuana, which I remember I was doing end of life care in the early 2000s with terminal patients. And we were using medical marijuana to help them just have a better quality of life, right? Because they're going through chemo, they're dying of cancers, all these things. It's very emotional, it's very physically demanding. And we were providing this marijuana to them at no cost, and bringing it to them because they're too sick, right? Or they're in hospice somewhere, they can't get out to get it. And we had one guy was doing real well and in remission, young guy, stomach cancer, and then he got on the Marinol, relapsed, and died. When he was just on regular marijuana, he was getting better, he was improving, and um, yeah, it's weird. I always thought it was weird. Marijuana is it's a plant. It's there. It exists. You don't have to do anything
Mm-hmm.
to it. And they're like, hey, can't we make some art like fake marijuana? I couldn't figure out why for years until I realized you can't patent something that occurs naturally. You have to create something to patent it. And the reason they want to do that is because that's how you make all the money, right? So they want to patent something like marijuana so that they can then get the drug companies to prescribe that instead of actually admitting that marijuana is medicine as is,
Mm-hmm.
because anybody could grow it anywhere and there's no way for them to make money off of it directly. I mean, that's a long soapbox box version, but
No, you nailed it though. Because the way things are just naturally, it's hard for them to control it. It's a lot harder for them to control it. And we said earlier, as far as you'd support a bill, even if it wasn't necessarily great, just to advance the movement, and I respect that. But Ohio said no to a bad bill, and because of that, now they're decriminalized, which is far superior to legalization. Decriminalized is a totally different ball game than legalization, and I can't believe it. But they dangled the carrot of legalization in front of the people with a bad bill, and the entire state
mm.
said, "Oh hell no, you're not going to control the market like this." So then they came back with a better bill of decriminalization.
See, and that got one of those got pushed through here, and it happened before I got here. So I don't know the particulars, but what it sounds like is they want to control, like you said, control the market and control the money. So they're not
Seed
allowing
seed to
patients to
sale
grow
and stuff.
medicine. Yeah, they're like a half dozen farms that are all approved by the state and only approved by the state, and that's the only way for the dispensaries to get their medicine. And it's a very limited number of
Hmm.
dispensaries,
Hmm.
right?
They
So
they they control. They
everything.
control. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's where it's. I'm much less to go down the block. I don't need to go down the block. I support my local grower, my local caregiver, and I help him directly on his farm, and he rewards me. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, and I
understand not
prefer that
everybody has
too.
that opportunity. I understand not everybody has that opportunity, but I can tell you from his experience and all the people that want to work with him, hey, you can show up. and work, and they just don't do it. They'd rather
Mm.
just complain about it or complain about the price or whatever. And I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, I go up there and hang out with them for fun and just happen to work at the same time,
Right.
so.
Yeah, trim some bud, man. It's a good
Mhm.
time. Um, I
Yeah, always.
I found I found the stereotype of pothead to be inaccurate over the years, right? Um, like if you go to the dispensary here, or most of them, but that I've ever been to, but especially like here in the South, it's middle-aged parents, it's elderly people. Like they're clearly medical patients. Do you know what I mean? Like it's clearly
Mhm.
improving the lives of the citizens in the area.
Yeah.
I think this stereotype of like, well, people are just going to go to dispensaries, buy a bunch of weed, and sell it on the street. That's insane. Do you know how much they charge? It's $100 a quarter at the dispensary here, right? Because it just opened up a year ago. Like
Mhm.
you can't. It's $40 a half a gram for extract. Like that's crazy. The prices are double what they should be at least.
Mhm.
You know, but it's that like, well, yeah, it's a new market. The state is still screwing everything up, you know, limiting growing, limiting farms, limiting
Mhm.
patients. Like over the years, I've gotten some really bad bud that's made me sick and made my chest hurt and stuff from the dispensaries. I mean,
You
right?
get it
So,
from the dispensaries, you don't get that from the people because you know where you're getting it.
right. And I wish I remember more specifically which year it was, but there was tests done of the California dispensaries marijuana because so many popped up so fast, and somebody started sampling the marijuana and all of it had mold, mildew, fertilizers in it, stuff, you know what I mean? Wasn't grown
Yep.
right, wasn't flushed right, wasn't cured right. And I started growing my own, and man, I could feel a difference in my body,
Mhm.
my lungs, my health. Um, so this idea that now I can't control what I'm putting in my body just because I moved to a different state, like that sucks, right? But if I grow it and they find it, I lose my farm and I'm a criminal. But if I go to their store and buy theirs, I'm paying double what I could get it for down the street,
Mhm.
and I could grow it for free. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. It's a pretty shitty
Well,
system.
I have a friend in Colorado that, uh, they have issues with, there's a certain chemical that's legally allowed to be sprayed on the, marijuana plants, and it's legal, but people it's not good for you, and some people have reactions to it. And I'm not a I don't know what I'm talking about for the record, but it's something like sulfur phosphate or something of that nature to where she has specifically has a adverse reaction to it, and even if you don't have a reaction to it, it's still not good for you. And it's
Mhm.
legal in Colorado for them to spray the plants with this stuff. And
Well, and I lived in Colorado for 3 years and was a medical patient there too. And the big complaint that I was hearing was they legalized hemp farming too. And so these commercial companies put in big ass hemp fields and it was pollinating everybody's outdoor marijuana crops.
yeah, we're getting seeds in it and shit.
Yeah, so like,
Yeah, I heard about that.
oh, so their Sensimilia is now full of hemp seeds, you know? Which,
Yeah.
to be fair, that would make really killer medicine for like seizures and epilepsy and things like that. But anyway, there is a second question. I feel like I should ask you that, and then we
Yes,
carry
sir.
on. This is a show, a live podcast about streamers for streamers to learn more about streaming, and you in particular. So the second question is kind of a two-part question, which is, when did you start streaming, and if you remember why, like what was the catalyst that got you
Mhm.
to start streaming?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, January 23rd, almost 2 years ago. So like 4 days away.
Hmm.
It's going to be 2 years, less than a week.
Nice.
It's going to be 2 years. I started streaming on D Live. And the reason I started streaming was I was already involved with Steam um, for almost a year at the or just over a year at this point, and I found D Live. I was really excited about it. Hopped on, saw these streamers, saw the potential, got really excited about it, and I wanted to do it. And I cashed out. I want to say this was when Bitcoin was around 17,000,
Hmm.
and so I had some to cash out, man. So I cashed out, got a laptop, got a mic, got a got headphones, got everything I needed for it, and started. Um, the reason I wanted to do it was my son wanted to figure it out. So we're watching YouTube videos and stuff, and we see, the people's head in the corner playing a video game, and he asked me, "How do you do that?" I don't know, man. I'll figure it out. We
Yeah.
got Google. We can figure it out. And then shortly after he asked me that question, I found out about D Live,
Hmm.
and I figured it out for him, and he actually streamed quite a bit for a little while. He has some Lino that we have for him. So, um, that he earned it. It's his, and
Is he
it's
gonna
it's
roll
really
it
cool.
over?
I cashed it out for him, but I'm gonna roll some over for him.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna diversify for him into some Bitcoin, but I'm gonna roll some of it over for him too.
Cool.
So
How old is your son, if you don't mind me asking?
he's 11.
Okay, because
Yep.
my kids are both late teens, and they actually help me understand how to stream.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that's cool. I've never actually, in all my guests, I've never had anybody with that backstory that you were using Steam and on Steam, and then found D Live, and have been on D Live through Steam and through Lino, and now it's changed in that there's a site token called Lemons, but there's also still the blockchain cryptocurrency, except it's a different blockchain and a different
It's been a wild
cryptocurrency.
ride. It's been a
And
wild ride.
there was
Yeah.
just a big announcement, right, a couple days ago. I still don't understand what happened. I don't know if you
hmm
do or think you do, but if you'd be willing to jump into that, I know a lot of people want to hear about it and want to talk about it right now. And I want to do it with a positive note, even if we criticize, which I think there may be some necessary criticisms, but also, we could do it in a positive, respectful way.
Yeah, one of the things anybody who's known me for any amount of time knows I am going to be fairly critical of what's going on, and I'm not going to be afraid to speak my mind about it. Um, I try not to be a fanboy any one way or the other. Obviously, I was torn when D Live left Steam. Um, I was torn, and with this change, I'm torn. Um, and there's a lot to be concerned about. There's a lot to be excited about,
All right, hold on. So
and I'm just trying to keep it.
let's take this a step at a time though. Okay? So you were on Steam, then you found D Live, now you're on D Live on Steam. Then D Live changes to Lino, and you said you were skeptical. However, how did it go for you personally? Like, did the move from Steam to Lino, was that an improvement? Was it not an improvement? Like,
Before we get to that, I want to back it up a little further than that.
okay.
I went to New York City for the D Live meetup. I met Charles in person, shook his hand. I met Jimmy. I met some people from I believe was ended up being from Lino, or I'm not 100% sure. Met a lot of people from Steam. None of them are really still real Seb. I met real Seb. Classic TV. Trying to think of some of the people that are still involved. I can't really think of any. Um, but so like back then, I found a connection between D Live and Lino, and I brought it up as a concern, and I kept it quiet for a while, and then it came out. I'm like, what? I was talking to team members that were like, I don't know, and then it came out, and one of them messaged me like, you were right. I'm like, yeah, and like kind of made me feel a little stupid, you
Well,
know.
what do you mean? Like, they were, maybe it was being done incorrectly, or
They were either They were either unaware, or they were lying to me. And I defend that because I say, hey, man, you can't just be telling some Yahoo about that kind of connection. We're talking, Lino raised $20 million. Like we're talking big boy stuff, big boy game stuff. Um, Part of me was like, it's not really my responsibility. Later, I wish I would have just like brought it up and mentioned it.
Well, here's why I'm asking, because we were told Lino is going to mainnet, then
Hmm.
like, yeah, woo, and then nothing for 2 months, and then nah, what,
Yeah,
what,
yeah, yeah,
what,
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
like
And
I
that's a
would
fair
rather
criticism.
you
Yeah.
tell me, I would rather you say to me, we're not sure if this is going to work, guys. We need a couple months. We're going to watch the market. We're going to work on this. We don't really know. Like that's being honest, right?
Hmm.
I would have been happy about leaving my money with them. But I feel like they lied to me to get me to leave my money with them because there was a business transaction going to happen in the background that would benefit or not if everybody bails, say 2 months earlier.
Hmm.
I don't know. And that's half me talking out my ass, but it feels bad. I just got the option to cash out. I took every dollar. Well, I gave people, I gave away some, but I have my request to get all my money back, and on it's going to go through at the end of the month because I don't appreciate, like you said, I don't know if I'm being lied to or misled, but it
Hmm.
feels icky,
Well,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
want my money back now.
That's a fair. Here's the thing: is the joke is we were talking with Tony and others in the community. Was the joke was that D Live was kind of like a parasitic bird that dropped its egg into the Steam nest to let its community. You know what I mean? To like steal the community a little bit.
Oh,
And
I
I
was
don't.
like, I
I'm
wasn't
not.
following you with that
Yeah, no,
reference.
no. I'm not.
Like,
I'm not going to say that they stole a community, but they definitely got a jump start in a community. I
well, you
do
got to
think
start somewhere, right? Like, I
I
don't.
do I do think that it's possible that they knew they were leaving the blockchain the whole time. They knew the economics wouldn't work as a tipping coin. Um,
I mean, that's okay. That may be. Um, I don't think there's enough people around to really have a frame of reference on that angle, but we all have a frame of reference on what just happened with Lino and what's happening
well,
right now, right? So
what
it
what
feels
I was just gonna say that
familiar, right?
it's almost like Tron did that to D Live. Like I feel like you know what I mean? Like they were like
Well, and that's
you know what I'm
why.
saying. They kind of snagged a community.
No, I mean
That's
that's
all.
that's well, Justin Sun is the one who is the gentleman's name, right? That runs all that and purchase. So I've been seeing his tweets, and his tweets have been cryptically optimistic about adding a bunch of new users and billions of cryptocurrency on his blockchain and all these sort of things, which is I don't pretend to understand that, right? I That's not my side of it. What I'm
There's no denying he's a hype man,
He's a what?
a hype man. You
Oh,
know.
right, and that's fine. It's business, right? Say do whatever you want to
Mhm.
do, but you're in a better spot to talk about this, man. Like the people that you've seen here for the last 2 years on D Live, building D Live, growing the platform, that are still around, right? Do you feel like they're being used or misled or lied to, or is they're getting rates free? We're getting our money's worth on D Live, right? In terms of like
Mhm.
having a place to stream from. I would never say it's not awesome, like because it's a free place to stream and make money. That's awesome. But I feel the PewDiePie thing was wrong, handled wrong, still is being handled wrong. I think this the way the Lino was handled was wrong, right? Like we're excited about that process and doing it and making it successful. Keep us in the
Mhm.
loop, even if it's going to fail. Keep us in the loop. We'll learn and grow with you. We'll be happy to go to the next thing with you. right? Like I don't know how many correlations can you draw between what happened with Steam and what happened with Lino?
Hmm.
Like probably all of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just sounds familiar. It looks familiar. It
Hmm.
feels bad. It feels like yeah, like Tony even said, it feels like I don't want to say we were lied to, but we damn sure weren't kept in the loop.
Hmm.
And I mean,
That's how it's always been. And when I put that connection between D Live and Lino, and it all kind of that way, a lot of people were very very upset to the point where they'd never touch D Live again. And part of me said maybe they were right. Um,
well, see,
I
okay,
get it.
now, but here's why I want to talk about this because I feel the same way they do in terms of what happened and how it was handled, but also that's not the community of D Live though, right? Like that's the business side of it, which I don't pretend to understand, right? I don't understand blockchains, cryptocurrencies, or having a streaming platform as a business.
Mhm.
I can't do any of that, right? What I can do is be a live streamer and have a show and do that well. And there's a lot of us that are here doing that have been here this whole last year on Lino. They've been here last couple years between Steam and Lino. We've had a lot of them on the show, and I think we're fine. I'm fine. I still love the D Live community. I have zero problems with the D Live community. And anybody that left D Live for those reasons that we were just talking about, I wish you the best of luck, right? But I'm still a D Live guy. I'm going to watch people streaming on D Live. I'm going to stream on D Live because I only stream because of the D Live community. I never streamed before D Live, even though I watched streamers before D Live, Excuse me. Yeah, so like my problem isn't with the D Live community or streamers. I think we're fine. My problem is how the business side of it because and I can be even more specific. It's supposed to be decentralized. It's supposed to be us building the company together. It's supposed to be us locking in Lino having
Hmm.
votes on how the company is going to be formed.
Not
It
lost to just another DApp on the Tron blockchain. You know, that's where you kind of lose me a little bit.
at no point where we ask a real question in any of those voting. Think,
No,
every day when you get your lock Lino, none of those were real questions.
no,
We
it was
we
the same one. It was the same one. Do you prefer decentralized
Right.
storage?
But then they changed it later to which validators do you want to vote for and all
Oh
that.
yeah.
None of that shit really mattered at all. None of it. Right? Like if we really had a say so in how the company was being run, we would have known it was about to fail. We would have been told that. We would have been kept in the loop. Like we all
So
saw Bitcoin, the price dropping drastically in the fourth quarter of last year, right? 2019. It wasn't a good time to release a new cryptocurrency. We knew that. All of us agreed. Fine, don't launch it this quarter. Push it. Take your time. Do it right, right? But instead of any of that conversation being had, we are assured it's going to mainnet, then zero information until its death. You know what I mean? They waited to the
mhm.
very last day that they could legally tell us, sorry, it's not going to work out. That
Yeah,
sucks. That sucks.
yeah.
And I know, and I could see why people got upset and left the platform. But I would challenge those streamers and say, it's not the D Live community that did you wrong. It's not the viewers and the other streamers. That's why I want to keep saying that. Like the D Live community is one thing, and the D Live as a business and the blockchain, whatever blockchain it's on, whatever currency or token, like those are separate entities, separate conversations. I think that need to be had. I don't know. I mean? What do you think? Like,
I think that it's very 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 extremely reasonable to think that D Live as it stands with Lino was a company that seemed to be dying on the vine over this last 6 months. I
Mm.
think anybody that pays any attention when they click on their followers tab, that's dwindling. The people that you normally follow, the numbers are dwindling, numbers are changing, viewers are changing, communities are changing. Anybody that's been paying attention has seen that.
Hmm.
So the question is, if if our only options were for Lino to be put on the market and lose all the value and be worth next to nothing, is that a better thing than the options that we have now? For Americans, that's definitely a better option than the alternative. For people outside of the country, man, who knows? Who knows how that's going to work out? They got to wait longer. Um, yeah, so I mean, the options are not great. uh, but who's to say what would have happened?
Well,
You
okay.
know?
In terms of that, I think the way it was handled was incorrect, but I agree with what Charles is doing. Like, clearly it wasn't working, and he wants to maintain the business and the company, right? Maintain the platform. So he found somebody who had the capital and the blockchain and an established cryptocurrency, right? And said, "Let's do this." I think that's a smart move, right? Like, if you're a business owner and business creator more specifically, you want to see that thing continue, right? Like, you don't want it to
Mhm.
die because the blockchain didn't work or the crypto didn't work or whatever. So I think it's smart. I agree with the business decisions being made, right? I don't understand them. That's why I don't get involved in that side of the conversation. I
Mhm.
don't pretend to understand cryptocurrency or blockchains or any of what's happening. But what I can say is most businesses fail, statistically speaking. So the fact that Charles started on Steam and it didn't work, right? Then Lino and it's not working. So he's going to do the next thing until something catches, right? Or
I
he runs out of energy to keep trying. I don't know.
I want to say that I don't think Lino is getting hosed at all in this situation. I'm pretty sure they're afforded all the opportunities of cashing out just like we are.
Yeah, it sounds like
So
whatever was done didn't work, and this guy's throwing money at it, and he's gonna try.
now, I if they here's the thing, man. Justin's gonna want his hands on it, so shit's gonna change, and it's gonna be unrecognized. I mean, that's just gonna be how it is. It might be live. It might be turned into be live. They're not really clear on how they talk. Their language is very precise when they're being vague. That's the only time they're precise is when they're being vague. They're
It,
they're they're specifically vague, and
well, I've
so I
seen
could
some.
see a name change. I could see some stuff being thrown together unrecognizable to what we have now.
Well, I
Because
from
I
what
feel
I've
Justin's
read,
gonna need his fingers in it.
they're gonna keep the D Live name.
Well, I mean, I think they'd be messing up if they don't. Or I think they'd be messing up if they change. But so they better get more decentralized, because they've been losing that battle, in my opinion.
Well, I think everybody that was criticizing Lino during the year, the guys that actually understand cryptocurrency and what it takes for something to be a cryptocurrency, were saying the whole time, DLive isn't really decentralized and Lino isn't really a cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and can't
Bingo.
be, right? And they were saying that the whole time.
Hmm.
Right? Now, I don't know what that means. That's why I kept saying, okay, but I'm having a good time. I like the people in my chat. I like the other
Right.
streamers I'm watching. You know what I mean? I have like blinders on because D Live works for what I want. I get to stream. I get people that I like hanging out with me.
Hmm.
What's the problem? I don't see a problem, right? But if you're trying to make money, this is your primary occupation, or you're trying to help people understand what decentralized means or help them understand what
Hmm.
cryptocurrency is. The last year on DLive hasn't helped us understand. I don't think, I still don't know what cryptocurrency is or what a decentralized streaming platform looks like.
Hmm.
But I would like to. I mean, what do you think needs to change? You saw it change from Steam to Lino, Lino now to the new thing. We're in transition. What for you? If DLive were to do these things or this thing, it would be better. Like, okay, fine, you've been doing it, it didn't work. Here's the new chance to get it right. Do it this way because this is what we haven't been doing.
Hmm. Do you now you have an account on Steam, right?
Yes, I
Like
played
you
Steam Monsters and did. I don't really understand Steam that well. I did a little blogging and photo stuff. I don't really. I didn't really like the ability to manipulate posts, right, for
hmm
making money and mining crypto. Because again, that's not why I was doing it.
hmm
So I kind of pulled away from it because I didn't understand it.
Sure. Well, I just with them they have DTube. I don't know if you're familiar with DTube at all, but it's for most people I know DTube is they're not a fan of DTube. They use IFPS inter file planetary system IPFS interplanetary file systems, I think, which is similar to what BitTorrent and what Justin Sun was talking about. Um, and they have problems with it. Storage is an issue. The storage has always been an issue,
Mm.
uh, and that's going to continue to be an issue. So if they did solve some sort of file storage issue, um, if it can be cheaper than servers and stuff, then it will work out. It seems like there's going to be like some sort of ecosystem for seeding videos and stuff. I don't know how well it's going to work out. I don't know enough about that to know.
That's actually a really interesting point that I've never even thought about, which is if you've got hundreds and thousands of people creating content 24 hours a day and you're trying to store it, I could see that
Mhm.
being a big problem. Like,
Now, I don't believe live store like as far as hosting streaming. I don't think we're capable of that, and I don't think we'll be capable of that for a very long time, if at all, just because of the need for low latency streams to compete.
mm.
There's no, from my understanding, there's no capable decentralized solution to that, to streaming, to hosting the live streaming. So we all we can talk about right now is the storage.
Do you think that's going to be addressed with the new platform? Because obviously, like on DLive, this 2019, the lag delay between what we present and what the audience sees was like 12 seconds, 15 seconds, right? So when you're trying to play interactive audience participation games, it doesn't go well, right? Because it's not like a conversation, it's too big of a lag. So
Mhm,
is I know those are two separate questions, right? One's about storage and the other's about bandwidth in terms of streaming and connectivity.
mhm.
Do you think that stuff's all going to be addressed with this new acquisition? Is the money available with this new company? Like, does he have infrastructure already that could potentially help? Is this just another shot in the dark? Like, what? Where are we at?
Um, I don't know if they're going to address the live stream. I know with like Theta before they were saying that D Live was going to have a partnership with Theta. Um, that looks like that's not going to happen now that they're going to Tron. I don't
Mm.
know if they're going to be able to do anything with the live streaming. I haven't heard anything about them monetizing, seeding, anything like that, like Theta does. Um, I don't know about that. I all I've heard from Justin is storage. Only
Mm.
heard him address storage. And I transcribed the announcement stream with Justin, and that took me over 3 hours. But I never heard anything. All I've heard from him was he wants to acquire more social media platforms, decentralized social media platforms. So the question is, is Steam on the docket for him? you know,
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? If Steam and DLive merged again, you know, like
yeah, that'd be
the
sweet irony.
circle of life. Yeah, I feel like you could then write a thesis statement at that point for sure.
It's been a wild ride, Joe. It's been a wild ride, man, and that would make it so much more wild.
So as there's got to be a potential upside to this, right? Like how it's been handled has been bumpy. However, new company, hype guy, got money, got cryptocurrency, got a blockchain, right? Looking to continue it to expand. D Live isn't his only thing going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's a streamer too, guys. Don't
Nice.
forget.
Well, and I
Well, no,
actually,
that's what he said at the end of his stream. He's like the last thing, like I'm a streamer, or I'm a gamer too, guy. Like, oh my goodness, oh
whatever,
my
dude.
goodness.
I'm not even gonna knock people. Whatever you got to do to get through the day. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
he's a business guy. He's trying to sell it. Good for him. You know, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
not a gamer. Like I play. I used to be. Now I could care less. You know what I mean? I'm a streamer.
Hmm.
There's this, and that's the thing with the D Live audience. D Live isn't just gamers. That's a percentage, but right, like chatters. I get way better numbers when I'm just chatting. Right, we get people painting, making digital art, cooking, outdoor stuff, gaming.
Hmm.
Gaming is like that's what people think of when they think of live streaming. But that's not what live streaming is anymore. Live streaming is sharing your life with other people, and the
Hmm.
gaming is secondary at best anymore.
There's no the live streaming is so powerful because there's no other medium that you're going to get the interaction there's no other medium that you get the interaction with the people you hang out with. The
Right.
communities can be built because we're we have that interaction,
Hmm.
such a rate and degree of interaction that makes it so much.
Well, I think the live streaming a good correlation you could say is live streaming. The difference between say live streaming and content creation, like say YouTube videos, is the same difference between like a cryptocurrency and a bank, right? Like you that stuff. The live streaming is what I want it to be, and it's happening right now, and you're a part of it. And there is no middle ground or no middleman saying you can't do that. Now there may be repercussions, right? If you do something that is against terms of the website or whatever, and they take you offline. But my point is, you can present anything you want. It's live. That's the point of
Mhm.
live, right? And the notion that you could also make money from that, I find to be fascinating, right? And then these guys are taking it a step further, saying we're going to let you make your money in a way that we take the middle guy out again, right? Like the idea of cryptocurrency, where you don't need the banks getting in the way. Like a viewer can come in and give you cryptocurrency. I think that would be like the pinnacle of live streaming, right? Like if
Mhm.
somebody could tip you in cryptocurrency, that seems sweet, right? Live streaming and
Mhm.
being tipped in cryptocurrency. Is that where it's going? Did that happen before? Like, I mean, because it sounds like with Steam It, wouldn't that have been the case? Were you getting tipped in Steam It, which is a cryptocurrency?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah.
that already happened. Then it went to a token that they were trying to create their own cryptocurrency, which failed. Now it's going back to a known cryptocurrency. But
No, 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 no. No, it's
no, it's not.
BTT is not a no.
Wait, say again because you cut
It's
out.
it's not like it's BTT is not on any markets.
Wait. All right, hold on. I need to hold on. Hold the fuck on, because I thought I was catching up. Hold on.
No, it's running on Tron though, I believe.
But Tron
But
is a blockchain, right?
Tron is a blockchain, but it's the tokens that we're going to be we're it's going to be I believe lemons and BTT. I believe
Wait,
if you
so
have a D
okay,
Live wallet, it's going to be.
but lemons are still gonna just be the site token. They call it IDA, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to continue to call it IDA, but um, yeah. So I believe they're going to continue the lemons, and that's going to be Tron, I think,
Wait.
and
Okay.
BTT
All right.
is going to.
Hold on. So the crypto guys are saying BTT is only available on one exchange, and that's the exchange which is owned by the guy who created it.
Is it not going to be? I don't. I
Is
thought
that
it wasn't available.
correct?
I thought it still wasn't going to be available until like even April on Poloniex. Is it available on Poloniex right now? I don't know that.
Right. So that's see, okay. This is why I took they said we're going to give you a chance to unlock your Lino, transfer it to Lemons, and you can cash Lemons out. And I said yes, and I took my money.
United States. That's the United States.
Because I live in the United States. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not going to be forced into some strange business decision I don't understand, right? Like, I invested in Lino over the year because I was here working, building a part of the community, right? Believed in what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to then take that level of trust and just hand it to the next guy. You know what I mean? Like I don't know anything about that guy. I have reached out on social media and asked Justin to be on the show. I would love to
Okay.
have a straight up conversation about the future of D Live.
Oof. Good luck.
Well, no, because I don't look. I don't know the
Control
guy.
the specific vagueness.
Well, no, because I don't know the guy. I don't know his previous company. I don't know what he
Mm-hmm.
wants to do with this company. I'm the perfect guy to talk to him. I have zero preconceived notions or biases.
Sure.
I don't know him. I would like to know him. And I'll be honest, he'll be whatever he's going to be. That's not my concern, right? My concern is giving the DLab community a chance to hear this guy's talk, right? Like people are
Mm-hmm.
concerned. We built this thing. It got derailed twice already. People's trust is a little shaky, right? That like you have been here through Steam, that have been here through Lino. We're gonna go into a new thing. Okay, fine, but somebody tell us something, right? Have enough
Right.
respect for the people that have built this company to include them as much as you can. You know, like that's my
Yeah. Well, and
opinion.
that's where I defended D Live for a long time for the benefit of the doubt, continual benefit of the doubt, and at some point it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely made me question things a couple times, you know.
Well, that's why we're here, man. We need to talk about this because I had Pi Goes on and I had Drop Dead Zed on and I've had like having you on is important to me. Stagnation, these guys that have been here for a while and have seen the
Mhm.
platform grow and change and have been a part of these changes, right? Like I've only seen the last year, which was kind of as Lino was coming online and then going back offline. You guys saw Steam come online, go offline, Lino come online, go offline, the new thing
Mhm.
coming online. Um, my question, I think this is a good question, and I don't
Okay.
know if there's an answer.
Sure.
Is there a real difference? Because I think there is, but I don't know. I could be crazy. Is there a difference between the D Live community owing loyalty to the D Live community and owing loyalty to D Live as a company, as a business, right? Do you think those things are inextricably linked?
Okay, I might answer this with that answer, but I'm glad you asked it because here's the thing. Before D Live left Steam, they knew exactly what they were doing, and it was D Live love, D Live fam. It was like community, 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 community. They pumped the community.
Mm-hmm.
They already knew they were leaving Steam, and they put a focus on the community. They knew community was important, and that's where I think it's a fair thing to think that they may have went to Steam strictly for the ability to swoop in and snag some community without genuinely building it. I think that's a fair question to ask whether
Okay.
whether they did that or not. It's always been community, community, community. They pumped that before they left Steam. So then when they did that, it was Lino to the moon, Lino to the it's community, 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 and it's they know how important community is. So they always they always
Right.
pump
So,
that.
but regardless, what I'm saying is, yes, I hear you and I agree with you because that's definitely the push that I heard the whole time over the last year, right?
So was that fake? Yeah,
Well, no,
maybe.
but hold on though. But I want to be specific about this.
Sure.
Was their angle fake? Yes or no? Maybe. Their perception of reality is reality, and the
Mhm.
perception is that it was PR at best, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, we actually, in spite of it, created a real family and a real community.
Right.
Like we
Yeah, there's no
legitimately
denying that.
built a real group of friends and family on D Live. That happened.
Mhm.
Like I'm a part of it. So does any of that other shit really matter? Right? Like, who gives a fuck? They changed blockchains, they changed cryptocurrencies. I don't care. I'm here for the people. The people are here. I'm here. I win. Right? Like if you want to make smart blockchain or not blockchain, if you want to make smart cryptocurrency decisions, that has nothing to do with live streaming, right? You can go be a really smart cryptocurrency guy and never live stream or watch it, right? You could be a
Mhm.
really smart blockchain is the future of the world. I mean, it's all the smart people have been saying it for a number of years. The big money guys, everybody knows it, right? So you could be a blockchain expert, not live stream, not know anything about live streaming, right?
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be too simple about what I'm saying, but I am trying to
Sure.
illustrate a point. I don't care about the crypto. I don't care about the blockchain. I don't care if it's a site token or IDA or crypto or they mail me a fucking check, right? Like, I just don't care. I'm
Mhm.
here because you're here. Because Pierre's here and Fleek's here and Bama's here and Tony's here, right? Ivan's here. That's why I'm here. I don't care who owns the company. I don't care what site token they use. I don't care
Mhm.
what blockchain they're on. Right now, is that stupid? Am I just not paying enough attention? Or like is there a difference between the community like we actually built and everything that they're doing as a business?
I think it's part of it. So it's definitely important for the person to be at least partially educated. There's certainly a learning curve with all crypto, and that's always been an issue of getting quote unquote the normies into it. Um, Steam was
Mm.
complicated. Lena was still kind of complicated. BTT is the whole with Justin focusing so much on the storage. He's talking to the wrong crowd. You're talking to live streamers. Live streamers 9 times out of 10 don't care about the storage, and if they did,
Yeah.
that's not a large population. Although storage is an issue for a lot of people, it's not the primary issue on a live streaming platform.
Well, I was gonna say I've got like I'd never streamed before. I'd never bought a streaming computer before, right? So
Hmm.
I bought a streaming computer. That's what Best Buy called it. Big hard drives, all this stuff. Well, I ran out of storage. I had to delete like I think 6 months or 8 months into live streaming. Had to delete all these videos that were being saved on my hard drive because I'd already filled up 100 gigs or 50, whatever the hell the number was of storage. Well,
Hmm.
I'm a live streamer. I don't give a damn about that. There's a new show today. Now is what's important, right? That's why you do
Hmm.
live broadcast because
Yeah.
shit changes all the time. Like I write books. I've written 10 books. I didn't even publish the last book because the information was could already amended and changed by the time I was ready to publish it. So why publish it? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It takes me at least a year to write a book and turn it into something that I can hand you that looks like a book. Or we can have this conversation right now about what happened this morning.
Hmm.
So the live aspect for me as a cultural anthropologist, the live aspect is amazing because I can talk to people from all over the world right now, right here, sitting in Arkansas, and have right. Of the 51 shows, I don't know if any two guests have lived in the same area, geographically speaking.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard. I don't know of anybody within a few hours on D Live.
Right. So in that instance, I love D Live. I love what D Live has given me. It's given me a chance to connect with the world in a real way, right? I
Hmm.
find that I will forever be grateful. I to Charles and what he created and what he allowed me to be able to be a part of. It's been awesome, right? So I'm not so quick to say to throw D Live under the bus as because to me D Live isn't Charles and the business paperwork and right in the blockchain. It's us. It's the people that are here every day streaming and watching the streams and contributing to the streams and helping create them, right, by being a part of the audiences. I think that's D Live, and that's why I am adamantly defending it and have been this whole time
Hmm.
because we're fine. There's nothing wrong with us, right? If the business is being handled correctly, incorrectly, that's not us though. That's not the D Live community, right? And I think there are far too many people who want to just sound important. So they repeat shit they heard somebody else say because and they call it a live stream, right? Because they just want to sound important. And really they don't know what they're talking about in terms of blockchains, purchasing companies for millions of dollars, right? Like creating cryptocurrencies, having like most people have zero frame of reference for that
Hmm.
level of business or money or you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I I don't even pretend to understand how it works, much less pretend to be able to relate to the decisions that Charles is making and that Justin Sun is making. I
Hmm.
can't make. Are you kidding me? Who's got right? How many of us have that kind of money to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna go give these guys $20 million so I can take over this business and not and hit like you said. He has plans to go buy more companies.
Hmm. Yeah.
None of
Yeah.
us have a frame of reference for that. So we should also not have an opinion in terms of saying, well, I'm leaving D Live because this business decision was made. You didn't, you at no point were they going to ask your opinion on that or should you have a say on that? You know what I mean? If you want to have a say on the interface and how to use it, fine. But D Live is a free service. You pay nothing to use this website. They
Hmm.
owe you no explanations. They just don't. Like I think too many people are like, well, I nobody consulted me. It's
Well, there's genuine reason to have that feeling, and then there's genuine reason not. I think at first I feel that they gave a voice to the loudest too soon, to where people kind of had the feeling that if they could just get loud, they could get their way. And for a while it worked, and I just feel that that kind of overtook a little bit. But I always say to people, live streaming itself is no disrespect, it's attention seeking behavior. I mean, that's not me like throwing out insults. It's literally the point is to get attention. The point is to build a community or be part of a community, and not necessarily to get donations, but to get people hanging out with you. That's so when you're kind of you're introducing drama in and of itself by being part of that community.
Mhm.
And it's just your management of said drama that
Right.
is what defines you on how you handle your community and everything. But I think they kind of gave a voice to anybody, and people come flooding in, and then they just started trickling out.
Yeah, this show Fireside Chats has been especially in the beginning. The reason I started it was because I didn't understand why do people live stream, right? Um, what is that about? What's it look like?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I started this show just a couple weeks after I started streaming, because I started streaming because my buddies, LT's on it, said Luke was like, "Hey, try this. I think you could do this. I think you would enjoy it." Well, after a few weeks of trying to play video games, I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to play the same game every day,
Mm-hmm.
day in and day out, and try to be number one in the world and be rich and famous." And like, I don't. That would not work for me. I'd be really, really bored. Why do people do this? And so I started a show
Sure.
asking the guys and girls and people around the world that do this, why do you do this? Remember, there's two questions. How did you come up with your name? Because with a lot of streamers, that tells a lot about who they are as a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then why and when did you start streaming? But that why, that's one of my favorite questions, right? Like, why? Well, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's actually said directly to be rich and famous. I don't think anybody said that. It was always like, well, I like gaming with my friends. And so we just turned the camera on because other people seem to like our conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Um, I started streaming because I like interviewing people and hearing their stories. And I realized there's something very interesting about live streaming, especially when like you and I are both live streamers. So I can watch your show and feel that connection. You watch my show, feel that connection. It feels more like
Mm-hmm.
we're neighbors, right? In a
Mm-hmm.
sense, instead of
Yeah.
just like me idolizing you because you're a guy that I watch all the time. It's more of a mutually beneficial relationship, I find.
Mm-hmm.
But I started live streaming because I wanted to find out.
Sorry, my cat just jumped up here. I want to make.
Oh no, we like pets on this show. I love it. My big old goofy dog was trying to be in here, but he's too energetic right now. Um, I wanted to see, can I form relationships online? Can I ask people intimate questions about who they are as human beings and get real answers, right? Could I form real relationships and could I ask real questions?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is absolutely yes. And I feel, and I've met some people, some streamers from D Live in person. So I know that it's a real connection, but um, I actually find that I've made better relationships and connections in terms of intellectually and supporting each other, all like this over the internet, that by live streaming than I have in person. Because
Mm-hmm.
like when you meet people in person, you have to do that dance, right? Like, do I trust you? Do you trust me? How much am I going to tell you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then here it's just like, hey, do you have any kids? How old are you? Where do you live? Are you depressed? Like, are you on medication? Like, what do what are your innermost desires? And we have these like questions I could never ask my buddy who lives down the street that I've known for the
Mm-hmm.
last year. You know,
Yeah,
it's
there's there's something to that because you're not going to run into them or what have you. There's a slight disconnect that makes you more close. I feel.
whoa. I'm not choking on the weed. I'm choking on the water. You see that?
You all right?
Oh, it's just water. Oh. So
No.
how do you have you seen that in your own life? Like, have you made connections with viewers or other streamers that you've now been hanging out with for a couple years that feels real, that's beneficial to you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's some sort of common theme that I'm realizing, seeing, and witnessing just over the last couple of weeks. I heard Vector talk about it. I heard Crypto Trippin talk about it. is generally, when I first started streaming, and you start hearing people who claim to be streaming experts tell you like when to do this, when to do that, one of the things they say, if you're not feeling it, don't do it. If you're just
Oh
not
yeah.
100%, don't do it. And that's bullshit.
No, I agree
Um,
with that.
because a lot of streamers who are streaming, we're not doing it because we're trying to be 100%. We're trying to be real. And it's when we turn that streaming on and we start seeing a couple people pop in, first person to say something in the chat, it's like, all right, cool. This is my happy place. I do this because it makes me happy. I don't do it
I see
because
what
I'm
you're saying.
naturally happy. I'm not naturally happy, and then I
Mm.
like bring that over. You know what I mean? People
But
hanging out and
but
chatting and bullshitting makes me happy.
yes, I agree with what you're saying, but I also want to interject that I know what they mean by if you don't feel it, don't stream. I've I've forced myself to stream on days like where I was having muscle spasms in my spine and stuff, and I was suffering to even sit in the chair, and I just shouldn't have. There's zero reason why I needed to be in the chair. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I shouldn't have streamed. That's how I take it. Like if you
Mhm.
if you don't have the desire to entertain people, don't turn your camera on. But like what you just said, I've had other streamers say that and realized I've done it myself. There's been some days where it wasn't like I don't want to entertain people. It was like I just feel kind of blah. And because I turned the camera on and I got to hang out with my buddies, I did feel better. Right. So
Mhm.
I've seen both sides of that. But don't you think like there's times you shouldn't stream? Like that you're not, because you are turning on a camera to your world. Do you think as live streamers there should be limits, or in terms of personal boundaries where you go, okay, yeah, but I'm gonna save some of my world for myself, or anything's fair game? What do you think?
Well, if you want to be the kind of streamer that streams your mental breakdowns, then that's your prerogative. But
I
if I'm
think
having a
that's more
mental
common than you
breakdown, I'm
think.
not streaming.
No, it's
No,
more
and
common than you think.
it's too bad. It's too bad if you're using it as a form of mental health awareness, then so be it. But otherwise, like, yo, your community aren't your therapists either. It's one thing to for your community to have genuine concern for you, but they're not your parents. They're not there. That's not their job.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You got to take care of yourself. And, it's one for just people to have general concern, like, hey, man, I noticed this has been kind of bumming you out. Send them a DM and chat with them, like, hey, if you need me, I'm here. That's one thing. But to just kind of air, there's certain discretions that all people have. I know some couples that have no problem fighting in front of you. I know other couples that would never dare fight in front of anybody. Like, that's their business. They handle it, And then, you get the healthy stuff in between, where it's like you talk to your friends about it and, you know, come on, man, he's trying to get my leftover, bro. No, no,
No
no.
kitty, bad kitty. No, I'm kitty being a dildo.
That's all he's here for. He's just eyeballing it.
We are X tag. You could say Kitty's being a dildo.
He is being a dildo, but that's
Yeah.
a cat thing. That's not a my cat thing. That's a cat thing. He grew up feral, man. He wasn't domesticated till about 6 weeks old, so he don't mind eating human food at all. So
he's a good looking cat for sure.
yeah, he's a
Dude,
badass
hey,
man.
speaking of badass cats, in Arizona, uh, they just sheriffs found mountain lion, one or two mountain lions eating the like human remains, like killed a person on a hiking trail and
Oh
was
my
eating
god.
them when they found them and shot them dead.
Jeez.
Like, just so you know, the kitty cats are out and they're big and they're angry. Yeah, I had mountain lion walk up on me on a disc golf course in Colorado. I've had a mountain lion roll up on me in California running the hills. There's mountain lions here in Arkansas, and they'll tell you there aren't. There are. Like, but dude, bobcats around my property. I live in the country, like with paw prints almost as big as my dog, and my dog weighs every bit of 100 pounds.
Mhm.
And their paw prints are almost as big as my dog, who's probably close to 120 pounds. I'm just saying, some big badass cats out there. That little cat in front of you, that's a trick to lull us into thinking cats aren't dangerous.
Right.
Big
No,
soft
they
fuzzy ones.
he'd eat me. If he was bigger, he would eat me. He just can't, and he knows he can't,
Look at
so
him.
he doesn't.
He looked right at the camera and blinked like, "Yep, I heard every word. I
Yeah,
agree."
he knows I'm talking about him. He's a badass too, man. He's a big boy. You can't really from here, but
Yeah,
he's a
there
bigger
you go.
than average cat.
Chat was asking. There you go, Eric. That's my dog. He's half lab and half shepherd.
Oh, cool.
Big old.
Oh,
He's
what a cool
such
dog.
a big goofy bastard. It's hilarious. His last owner was this couple in their 70s who got rid of him because he thinks he's a Walmart greeter. Like he won't bark at a human or a truck or any. They wanted a watchdog, and he loves people. He doesn't know he's supposed to bark. And which I like. I like that he doesn't bark a lot.
Sure,
You know what I mean? He
sure.
keeps the coyotes away, keeps the big crazy cats away. It's good. It's good.
That reminds me. I was working at a job once, filling up a bucket. I do tile, and I was filling up a bucket of water, and a husky came up to the fence. The neighbor's husky came up to the fence, 5 feet away from me. He was looking at me like, "What are you doing over here? I've never seen you around." I'm like, "Hey, I'm just filling up this bucket. How you doing?" And kind of looks at me, kind of goes a little. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm like, "Hey, are you a good girl?" Tail wet. Oh, had a little conversation with the husky.
Nice.
How vocal they are, and it was so
Yeah,
cool. She's like, looks at me. She's like, "All right, well, nice talking to you. I'm gonna go back in the house now." Like she's just checking things out, making sure that was up.
that's
It's cool,
awesome.
man. Yeah, you.
Huskies in particular as a dog breed, they their intelligence, they don't see themselves as pets. They see themselves as
Hmm.
part of the group. And if you treat them like a pet, it won't go well.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they absolutely pay attention to everything. And like you
Hmm.
said, super vocal.
Yeah. Yeah. Very vocal. Yeah, and I had a little conversation with her. Yeah, I love huskies. You just got to get them out. You got to exercise them, otherwise,
Mhm.
same with terriers, little
Well,
shitheads.
this lab shepherd mix is an incredible mix.
I
Um,
bet. Yeah.
and every time I open the door, he has a full on conversation. And no, I'm like I don't know what you're saying right now.
Yeah. He's telling you about his day, man.
Oh man, he goes on, and it could be 5 hours or 5 minutes, and he acts the same way every time. Like I've had all kinds of animals, reptiles that give shit that you're even there or alive. Fish, dogs, cats, parrots, the whole thing. And which, by the way, that's weird. Having a pet that can speak back in English, that's weird. When I had conures, you're just like, wow. And now they don't have the same. They're more like a 5-year-old or 8-year-old at best, with their thoughts.
Sure.
But it's
Sure.
still speaking to you in English, right? Like,
Yeah.
how fucked would we be if our cats and dogs could speak,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Dude. Yeah, no, I was working at a job once down in and I thought I was all by myself and I'm working in this house, laying tile, and I hear somebody in the background in the back of the house talking on a Nextel. You remember those, the two ways? Boop,
yeah,
boop, beep, boop,
yeah, yeah.
boop. So I'm hearing some guy talking on a Nextel in the back of the house, and I'm laying tile. A guy gets there, and I was talking to him. I'm like, "Yeah, there's somebody back there. Sound like they're talking on a Nextel." He's like, "No, that's my son's room, but he's not home from work for at least for another hour or two." And I said, "Well, somebody's back there." He goes, "Oh, that's the parrot." What? He's like, "Yeah, that's just the parrot back there." I'm like, "What? No way is this?" So I'm like, like I legit thought somebody was back there
Yeah,
talking on a Nextel for 4 hours, man. I'm working the
yeah.
whole time. Just I never questioned it. Never thought it wasn't
Well,
somebody back there.
this will prove how old I am now. My buddy had a parrot who he did the old tape answering machines, right? So when you call the house, the tape would click to start recording. So the bird
Yeah.
the bird would go beep, click, and then not home, and say the whole message. And
That's
then
so funny.
occasionally repeat like messages that people had left from like 20 years ago or something, you know?
Or just one that's repeating, like,
Oh,
"Hey, Bill, give me a call."
yeah, yeah, and those birds don't forget ever. Like there was
Wow,
one
dude.
that became real famous up in Alaska. My grandparents' family is from up there, so there was this parrot that was over 100 years old that used to be owned by some sailing captain from like back when they sailed ships around the world like as a normal thing, right? And this bird cussed like most of its words. It just sounded like an old pirate, right? Cussing. And it was so bad when the captain died, a restaurant took this bird in and people would travel from around the world just to get cussed out by this parrot.
Wow.
Like it became a thing for extended period of
Wow.
time. Yeah. But those things, oh my God, so much fun. So much fun. But I had one, let's see, I don't know if you can see it here. Anyway, I had one grab my lip and it's never been the same. So we're not friends anymore, man.
Oh, no.
Also, my other one, I had two conures. One of them, a lady was watching for me. This is when I lived on Big Island, Hawaii. And wild turkeys were carrying the bird flu. And this
Oh,
lady was
shit.
watching my parrot put it outside in a bird cage. The turkeys came up to it, gave it the bird flu. The bird gave the bird flu to the lady watching the bird. She was allergic to antibiotics, which is what was the answer for the problem. So
Oh,
my
goodness.
parrot died in one day, and she almost died because they tried to give her antibiotics.
Wow.
So it was like I get a call from the neighbor who was like, the birds, your bird's dead, and I'm pretty sure the lady is too. And
Oh my god, dude.
I was like, what the fuck happened? How does that happen? You know, I didn't know. I found out all that backstory later, but anyway, and that
Wow.
bird could talk to you, like
I believe it.
conversation with you. It was wild. So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have that level of like commitment to a pet again. Like
I don't think I could,
that's
man. That's
heavy, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
because
this
it's like losing a child because the thing can talk. You know what I mean? Like it was weird. Like having a cat or dog pass away or a snake or a fish, that sucks. It hurts, right? But you haven't been having conversations in English with it. You know what I mean?
right.
Like it takes that like love for a pet up a whole nother notch.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, and cats are the devil.
Yeah, man.
People, your cat's just off camera, but oh, there's the ear. See, the cat's basically
Yeah.
sitting directly in front of the mic between him and the camera because cats know.
Yeah.
You know what? That cat reminds me of one I used to have that was a Maine Coon mix, which I
Yeah,
really
that's what I
liked.
want. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want one.
They're really heavy, though. Really big, heavy cats. But super sweethearts. Their temperament, personality. Okay, so
Mhm.
I've had. This is what got me off of cats. I'll be honest. I don't know how we started talking about cats and dogs, but I love it. Um, so I moved in with the lady. We were together 5 years, right? So when I moved in with this lady, she had had these cats for like 8 years or something, a long time, right? Like half the cat's life already. And she had been single. So then I move in. Now the cats hate me because she's giving me attention, right?
Oh, man.
So
Yeah.
I built the cats big houses and scratch posts and gave them every treat in the store and toys and right the
They don't
bro. These cats hated me so bad that they would pee in the corners of the room to show their displeasure.
Yeah.
What we found out after we moved out of that house, because it was an old Italian house, like from the 1800s, it had random with red oak floorboards that were worth like 10 grand per room for the floor. And these cats had been like going into the corner, peeing on the floor and ruining the floor with the
Oh
pee.
my God.
Yeah, so when we moved out, they were like, you know that couple grand that you gave us for the deposit? That's not going to cover the damage to the floor.
Wow.
I was just like, I hate cats. Like, I love cats and hate cats, and I'm pretty sure that's how they feel about us too. You know,
Yeah.
like,
We're just the meal ticket.
like cat, the fish store I go to. They got two cats. As soon as I walk in, normally the cats are pretty like just they don't give a damn who comes or goes out of the store. But for
Sure.
some reason, I walk in, man, they are both like right to me, like, "Hey, how you doing?" Right? And I'll say, "Hey, how you doing?" I'll give them a quick pet and then I'll fuck off. Because if you give them more than 5 seconds, they will claw you, they will bite you. One of them will jump off a higher shelf onto your face while the other one's chewing on your
What?
ankle. Like,
What?
bro, they pretend like it's cool, right? That they're cool with you, but as soon as you're not looking, they're like, mm-mm.
Wow.
And they act like they're the nicest cats when you walk in. Oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, just pet me right here. That'll be and you're
Yeah,
like, what the
like that's enough.
fuck?
That's enough. Wow, that's
Like,
enough.
I don't get it, man. So I don't know. I'm scared. What's interesting though is I'm in a position where now this is gonna sound gay. And I don't mean like my sexual preference, you know what I mean? I just mean like old school reference. Uh, my dog wants a cat. Now I know. All right, now here's how I know. Because my dog had a cat at the last place he lived for 2 years, and he would carry it around by its head, like you're mine and you're coming with me. Pick it up. Never once hurt the cat. Loves this damn cat.
Wow.
Would pick it up by its head, take it with him where he was going, lay it down. The cat would like hang out with him, like always.
That's
And
sweet.
he's been totally like bummed out. I've had him a couple months. He's been acting like he's cool with me, but he kind of is mopey. And I called the guy and he goes, "You got to get him a cat. Your dog wants a cat." And I was like, I thought the guy was messing with me, and he's like, "No, no, no! Like your dog wants a cat." And I was like, "Great! I'm gonna be a cat owner because my dog wants one." Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna believe that. Like,
Too bad, man. Your dog needs a cat. Yeah, yeah. He wants a pet. He got
my
to taste
pet,
of
my
he got
pet
to
wants a
taste of the
pet.
pet life.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
pet wants a pet. Like, what the hell, man? And they say, they people will argue that these animals don't have emotions like, that we could relate
Right.
to.
Oh
Bullshit.
no, dude. Bullshit. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. They feel,
Definitely.
man. Yo, so I don't have a bottle up here. Quick 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, you need to take a second. Not a problem, not a
Yeah.
problem.
Take some water.
I
I'll be
can
right back.
uh I can just go full screen till you get back.
Cool. Thanks, man. I'll be right back.
Hey guys, so this is, obviously this is a different format than what we normally do with fireside chats. Um, but Eric and I have been chatting for a while off camera. And I was like, dude, we need to we both like to smoke marijuana. It helps, right? And for me, I have a lot of pain management issues. I couldn't sit in this chair for hours at a time if I wasn't stoned. I hurt too much. I'm hurting right now, and you'll see me do like this. That's because I'll get muscle spasms in my back, and if they go too much, I got to move and try to interrupt the signal. But with a lot of times before I do this show, I actually have they call it a TENS unit. I put patches on my back, do this shock thing, and it kind of tires the muscles out so they're more likely to relax. Anyway, my point is streaming hurts. Physically, mentally, it's pain. So I was like, I want to smoke. I want to talk about smoking. I want to talk about D-Live and where we're at in the community. And I was like, do you want to smoke? Do you want to have an X tag fireside chat and smoke weed and hang out? And he said, yeah, that's what I want to do. So here we are. Also, my I have water. Oh man, you know what I made, guys? I started it in August or September. I make my own wine, right? So it's grape wine, Zinfandel. I make a honey mead. I try different recipes. During the end of summer, beginning of fall, I started a hard sweet tea cider. So I was like, I'm drinking sweet tea. I'm like, I love sweet tea. I'm a Southern boy. I love sweet tea. How about sweet tea with alcohol in it? I don't know. Let's make it. So I use apple juice, like an apple cider with sugar, but a very small amount. Mostly I just made a big batch of sweet tea, added extra sugar, and then added some tannins. And it is amazing. You want it, guys? You want to see this? Hold on, look at this bottle. Chair stream. First time ever in Fireside Chats, you get a chair stream. That's how you know. Look at this bottle, guys. Oh, it's a half gallon, old school, like they call it a Grolsch bottle with the metal swing top lid. But look at this sweet tea. It looks like sweet tea. Let's see what it smells like. Actually, you can kind of taste, or not taste, smell the alcohol. Very, very subtle. Anyway, let's see my buddy's back. All right, so I just went and got my I made a hard sweet tea cider.
Ooh.
That I just bottled. You see this? It'll take a second for it to pop up for you, but this is a half gallon. I make 5 gallons at a time when I'm making booze, just in case I like it. But I give a lot away.
Nice.
So here's the. It looks like sweet tea.
Nice. Does it taste like it?
Well, let's find out. Let's see. It's got a bit of a smell that's not like, sweet tea doesn't have a lot of a smell.
Mm-hmm.
This has a slight smell to it, probably the alcohol. Whoa. It's like it almost tastes like an apple cider, but a little. It tastes like sweet tea, but a little bit thicker consistency. And the back end, when you exhale, has like that slight apple cider kind of a smell or taste, which I would presume is from the fermentation process. But I just finished making it. So about let's see, September, October, November, December, between 4 and 5 months brewing, and now it's bottled. And nice. So from this point, like 6 months from now, it would probably be really, really good. I don't know.
Cool, man.
But I already started 5 gallons of a white Zinfandel too. And just finished 5 gallons of a grape wine that I gave away. I made for Thanksgiving and Christmas and just finished giving all that away. That's awesome.
Great. Oh, it's awesome having a talent like that and be able to give away. I can't exactly do that with,
Well, it'd be nice if we could do that with weed, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like I just grew this OG Kush. The 100th subscriber gets an ounce mailed to their house. Boom! Congratulations. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of a federal crime. Yeah, that'd be great.
Or like. We could use e-credits to 3D print an ounce of weed. You know what I mean? Like I send you e-credits and your machine prints out whatever it was. I mean, I think these ideas would work.
Oh yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me smoke some more. I'll have better ideas.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So we talked about our pets having pets, and that's cool. But if we can for a moment. Do you remember why you started streaming? Like, we kind of talked about that, but like you said, it garners you attention, But is that why you started live streaming?
No, no, it was hanging out with people. It was
Oh,
hanging out with
okay.
people. It was well, like I said, as far as learning how to stream was because of my son, but the reason I
Mm,
continued to stream, was more for, how it made me feel is
sure.
I'm very selective with my social life. At the end of the day, I almost feel at times, and it's not good to be so nihilistic, but at times it feels that hanging out with people IRL are kind of um too much trouble than it's worth, and that can be frustrating, um, because you're kind of stuck geographically hanging out with people.
Hmm.
But when you start talking about people on a streaming platform, it can be anywhere. Met so many people, excuse me, Dragonov from Bulgaria, Indy from wherever the heck he's from. I'm forgetting right at the moment.
I mean,
Latvia, Latvia,
Axie's
Latvia.
from Borneo, Sean's from Ireland. There's, yeah, it's what I'm saying. That's what I love that about the D Live community. Like that's why I'm here because my friends are now international. And dude,
Mhm,
literally moved addresses 38 times in 10 years, right? Trying to meet people and write books and heal myself. I've That was 38 moves. I met 38 communities, right?
wow.
I've
Yeah.
done 50 shows in less than a year. And they're all in different states, different countries, different geographical places, right? So I've been able to travel more and get more stories in the last year sitting in my living room in Arkansas than
Mhm,
I was the previous 10 years moving actually, physically. And only had a handful of these conversations in those 10 years on a real
mhm,
level,
mhm,
right? And here it's like we can become friends within a couple months and have these sort of serious conversations almost immediately.
mhm.
I don't know. How much of that is because you're in your safe space and I'm in my safe space? You know,
Well,
like,
yeah, yeah. For me, it's if you want to talk like strictly a monetary, saves me not leaving the house. You know what I mean? It just makes sense to
sure.
not have to leave the house. I can drink beer here. I can smoke weed here.
Hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of. Never mind. I don't need to go out. Let's just say, I don't need to go out. I don't need to um put myself out there spinning around in space, looking to collide with somebody, for better or for worse, and that's so it's nice. It's easy to be reclusive when you find a community, when you find a platform,
Hmm.
when you genuinely feel like you found friends. You want to hang out with your friends. You want to hang out where your friends are.
Actually,
So.
something that D Live has allowed me to do, I've I moved even further into the country, got a farm in the middle of timberland. Like D Live, I realized I have like one real life friend that lives here close by, right? Like we're
Mhm,
brothers. That's it. Because I don't need to. I don't need to like I've got friends all over the world on D Live. I can go home, like you said. There's a stigmata attached with marijuana. And I'm like, dude, without weed, I'm not functioning properly. Right?
right.
So you don't want to hang out with me if I don't get to smoke a bowl. I'm quiet. I'm intense because of my pain management or whatever. I'm focused on trying to accomplish my task and get back to my safe bubble. Right?
Mhm,
So this is a cheerier me than you than you would probably know if you knew me in real life.
yeah. I've definitely taken a liking to the slightly reclusive life I have been living, and not necessarily healthy. Um,
Well,
but I'm
we've
not
talked
causing. I'm
about
not.
that.
I'm not causing any
Well,
harm either.
we've talked about that on this show quite a bit, which is it's okay to be reclusive, right? But you still have to maintain your physical well-being if you want
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
not die, right? So you need sunshine, right? You need to go outside. You need to get sun. You do need to include other human beings in your life, at least
Hmm.
somewhat, right? Um,
Hmm.
it's important to maintain your mental health and well-being, but at the same time, I do that by staying by myself most of the time.
Hmm.
Take.
Yeah, they say like as a test, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, is do people generally, do you feel like you need to recharge your batteries after hanging out with people, or do you feel that people hanging out with people recharges your batteries? And it's the it's like the cliche of like, well, both. You know what I mean? Depends on the energy of the people I'm hanging out with. They're so it's
Well, for me, it's
generally.
very rarely do other people charge me. Most of the time, any human interaction is, I feel tired after,
Hmm.
like I'm being drawn from. And I know for a fact I've had people in my life doing that to me. They were a real energetic vampire, right? And you always felt tired after, and they were very touchy and clingy, and I could never figure out why. And they're very, very much stealing your actual physical electromagnetic energy.
I believe that, and I believe it. Intentionally or otherwise, I believe it.
Well, and there's something that I used to tell couples. I used to do, seriously, I used to try to save the world, man. Like, I'm better now. So, but with couples, they would say,
Glad to have you
"Well,
back.
thanks, man, thanks." No, it's good to be back. Um, if you're used to sleeping on one side of the bed or the other, you watch how upset one partner or the other gets when you switch sides, because just as human beings, we have a polarity, a positive and negative side to our bodies, yin, yang, male, female, all that, right? Electromagnetically in every human. So, depending on how you position yourself next to another human being, one of you is draining, the other is charging. Very, very rarely is it a matching electromagnetic charge, right? Where you guys would then create something more, which is the ideal scenario for a relationship, right? Very often one person is draining from the other. So if you're having trouble feeling exhausted at night, if you switch sides of the bed, you're probably going to wake up feeling great, and your partner's going to wake up exhausted, right? Because you've switched polarities and now you're the one being charged at night. So it's a very interesting dynamic that most people don't address.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for people like empaths or autistic people, especially, um, we can feel that electromagnetic charge off of not just people, but also like lights and electronic equipment and things like that. And it's like big box stores, exhausting. The
Hmm.
lights, the people, the stuff, just the
Oh
sheer
yeah,
volume of shit going on. No thanks, man.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. I have a
I,
hard time with that stuff too.
I'd rather smoke a bowl, go for a walk in the woods, you know,
Hmm.
than
That's
anything.
that's why people like us play disc golf, man.
Right? You know what? I've got 3 bags of discs in this house. You are wearing a Discraft shirt. I haven't thrown discs since I've been in Arkansas. That's a shame. I need
We
to.
got some.
Where are they? I've got 3 bags of discs in here. I gotta find them and go throw now. Gotta go throw.
Yeah,
I was
just
like
do it.
a I was like a 3 over kind of guy. 3 over average. And
It's
that was when I was good.
for me, Joe. It strengthens my core and it with my back issues. So I haven't done it in a while, and I've been feeling it.
I love disc golf. It's a very my stepdad is actually a retired military guy, and he got into disc golf to go walking, hiking, basically,
Heck yeah, yeah.
And after about 5 years, he just kept saying, "Dude, you got to try this thing. It's called disc golf. Like you'll like it."
It's
And I'm
really
like,
good for your body, man. It's really good
well,
for
I
you.
told him, I go, "I've never played a game of golf in my life," and he goes, "It's not golf. Like, don't stop thinking about that." So he gave me a bag and some discs, and
Oh
he's
yeah.
like, "Go find a course, find people that are throwing, follow them around, right?"
Yep.
And
Yep.
dude, I did it for like 2 years straight. I was in the local league, played every multiple times a week, every week. I
Yep.
felt fantastic. I loved it. Had a good time. And it's generally with a very small group of people, and you're out in nature, which is nice.
Yep. Yeah, man.
It's
Yeah, we have great courses here. We have great courses around here. Great leagues around here.
nice. I know there's a course at the lake near where I live. It's a state park. I know there's a course there. With my brain damage, if I don't have something around, I forget it exists. And
Sure.
so I haven't thrown disc golf in long enough that when I wake up in the morning, it doesn't occur to me as a thing to do anymore. So say disc golf to me when you see me in the near future,
All
just a few
right.
times, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, and then I'll actually go and play disc golf.
There you go.
You can help remind me.
Sounds good, man.
All right, all right. And if
I
we ever
haven't.
get together, we could throw.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I haven't played it in a while.
Good.
But
You won't. Will be equally
yeah.
appalling. Disc golf is definitely a skill that you lose if you don't use it.
As far yes and no. Yes and no. There's actually a guy, I mean, he's kind of an athlete, but he hasn't played in 3 months. He just posted on Facebook the other day his first throw in 3 months, he got an ace,
That's
which is
bullshit. That's first of all, sir. No, no. That
yeah,
sets
dude.
unrealistic expectations.
Oh, absolutely.
I've never gotten an
Absolutely.
ace. I've come
It's
close,
in
but
in a
you
lot
know,
of ways it's like riding a and for me, when I was playing multiple times a week, every day, I wasn't nearly as good as when I played it 3 times a week because I was, 2 or 3 times a week because I just kinda get caught up too much into it and I'm overthinking. When I'm only playing a few times a
mm.
week, it's a lot easier for me to just kinda not overthink it, just let it happen, which makes me a better disc golfer.
Well, the one
So
thing I
every once in a
notice.
while, when I just haven't played in a while, like I do better. But it's as far as putting, general rust, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
sure, sure. Well, I noticed there's like two types of disc golfers. There's the kind that drinks and there's the kind that smokes, right? And generally there's separate crowds. Like the one crowd shows up with coolers full of ice and beer and gets hammered while they're playing. And there's guys like me who can't hike up the hill if he's been drinking Bud Light all day, right?
Right.
It's like I need to smoke a joint just so I don't hurt too bad so I can hike up the hill, right? And it's this like I think I prefer the weed smokers to the drinkers.
Yeah.
It's more of a zen exercise and less of a party, you know, less
Yeah. And
physically
then
demanding.
and then you got the people that are doing both that are really there to party.
Well, there is
Yeah.
that crowd. Yeah, that's true. And then also, I guess there's another type, which is like the mom and dad and the couple kids and the dog that want to come out, right? And they're part of the league. And
Right.
so I don't know. I find if you include more than a couple of people in anything you're doing, it's not as good of a time, right? Like if you had
Mhm.
three other people you really like throwing disc golf with, and the four of you went out once a week every week, you would I think that would be more enjoyable than playing in a league with 40 people or 50 people every week.
Well, I play in a league with over the first couple weeks get over 100 people. Yeah, and, it dwindles down, it gets to an average of about 70, but I play with the same 3 other people every single week.
Sure, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like even within that group you find your group.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we all started as office, and then we eventually, like, rotate with a person or 2 that you like, and then you start asking for that person, and the next thing you know, you got 4 people, and that's your crew that you play with
uh
every week.
See, we tried
That's how it worked for me.
the first year I was in this league. It was the second year they existed, and like you said, you just end up in the same group every week. So the next year, the league was like, hey, you're going to have to draw for partners at the beginning of every game. That way, it makes people play with other people, which
Yep.
I learned a lot more about disc golf that year because I
Mhm.
got to see a lot of different people.
Yep.
Uh, but then the following year, the league went to shit because now everybody's making all these crazy rules because they want to play with whoever they want to play with or whatever. You know what I mean? That many personalities. And then
Mhm.
I just went back to throwing with the three dudes that I like to throw with anyway, right?
Right.
We quit playing the league and we just met and threw together.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. There's Flip City. If you most people that are into the history of disc golf know about Flip City. That's close by to me.
Mm,
How they do their leagues is you one week you can choose your partner, and then the next week it's random, and then it goes back and forth. So you are forced to throw with the rest of the people, for better or for worse, man. You figure out who you like and who you don't pretty quick.
hmm
But I mean, yeah, as much as I love the community, you got people that got issues in every crowd, any way you can slice it, you know.
Sure. Well, and that's kind of how I found out about the heavy drinking, partying crowd. I didn't know that that was a part of disc golf, right? Because I didn't do that until I got thrown into some of those groups.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, they're not here for the nature walk. They're, they're not trying to connect to their inner Zen right now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's everybody's there for different reasons, you know. I kind of that's similar to festivals. I don't know if you're into festivals. There's
I've
a pretty
stayed away from them because, like, I loved raves and rave type music because of like getting into the emotion of the music,
sure.
but it lost me when it just turned into drugs. And
Oh yeah.
it seemed like that's what the festivals were about. And I don't, and I have a hard time with that many people, to be honest. So I
Dude, for
haven't done
some
it.
reason I don't know why.
Hmm.
I have no no issue with it. But people do that for different reasons. Some people go in to scam people. Some people go in to
Hmm.
make money. Some people do this, do that. We all end up in situations like that for different reasons. With disc golf, man, not everybody's there for good reasons, and you want to believe that they are, but
Yeah, I
some
mean,
bad people infiltrate all communities,
it's a
man.
pretty, I mean, like, that's a pretty mellow group, right? Like disc golfers in
Oh
general.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Every once in a while, you get somebody who's not, and they just don't last.
hmm. So okay, so let's swing this back around. We've been going a couple hours. There's towards the end of these conversations, I like to ask if you have advice for somebody who's never streamed or just started streaming. You've been doing it for a couple years now. Is there a piece of advice you would give to people that says, "Hey, this will help you in your streaming career, and this would hurt you in your streaming career?" Right?
Well, one thing that just kind of sticks out to me, it's something I've been learning. I to Joe Rogan's podcast. I started at one. I'm like at 35. He's got like 1,500 of them.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Dude, we're on episode 35. He still starts the stream and like there's some audio from his desktop playing somewhere. You know what I mean? So he starts streaming and then it gets an echo. Like a delayed echo, and it's like, and it gets worse and it gets worse. Like, dude, 35 episodes. He's still doing that. Look who he is now. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
don't let not knowing how to do it stop you from doing it, man. Because I promise you, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Just keep pushing forward. Just keep don't apologize. Just keep going forward and just keep doing it and keep learning and just have fun with it, man. Because like I said before, there's no better engagement. There's no better media for engagement at all. At all. There's no. I mean, this is the greatest thing since party lines. Like I'm telling you, man. It's
I don't think our most of our audience is old enough to know what 900 numbers were, buddy.
that's okay. And if they do, like that one's for you.
For ten
It's
dollars a minute, you could talk to me and my friend.
yeah.
You're like, no, no.
You know.
Then your mom kills you because she gets a phone bill, and
Oh yeah, I've
you
been
were
there.
14 and you didn't know that that's how that worked.
Yeah,
I'm not
had
saying
to
that
have.
happened to a friend of mine.
Yeah, yeah, me too. um,
Back when the phones were still attached to the wall with cords.
yeah, get all tangled and wrapped up and shit.
Mm, the worst. And you'd try to stretch into another room for privacy, and your mom or somebody would, jerk the cord or just unplug it from the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway.
Simpler time back then.
Simpler time. All right, so just keep going. Just do your thing. Do what you want to do. Don't keep.
Yeah.
Well, also, you didn't say this, but it's in the same line, which is the reason Joe Rogan is successful is because he did improve, right? He did get his audio better and his video and his production and the guests and all this, right? Like,
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like Joe Rogan was a badass before podcast. And it's really cool to listen to it from the beginning and get the insight from some guy who doesn't know what it's going to be.
mm,
It's if anybody's down for that kind of like introspection on some stuff, like watch his first 10 stream podcast or listen to his first 10 podcasts.
mm.
They have no idea. They're talking about 3D TVs being the next big thing. You know what I mean? Like they don't know what's coming down the pipe. And it's really cool. But I mean, he's a badass without it. But one thing that he said early on that stuck with me is he was so scared of being a failure
Hmm.
that he didn't want to be a failure. He wasn't scared of failing. He was scared of being a failure. He was scared of being a loser. You
Hmm.
know, so it's like he didn't want to be a loser, so he did things to make him not a loser. You know, he was a Taekwondo national champion. Did you know
He's
that
a
about Joe Rogan? I
oh
didn't. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I was a full contact fighter in the 80s, like
so you
in
do.
90s. Like I grew up in that life, and like when the UFC started, one of the guys that fought in it that was training to fight in the UFC was one of my brown belts trying for her black belt, and he used to use me as his punching bag to train, and broke my left elbow 3 times in 1 year fighting that guy.
Oh
Like
my god.
ribs, legs, like, oh my God. So I grew up idolizing, Bruce Lee was obviously like the man, right? Then he died. And his son, Brandon Lee, I was obsessed with him. And he died on the, shooting the movie, The Crow, from a
Yeah.
prop gun, like, man, I followed all that. And did, guys like Joe Rogan, he's been a part of that. Like, he is a legitimate animal. That dude, like what he's capable of, his testosterone levels, I don't know what it is, his drive, intestinal fortitude, pick something, but
Yeah.
what I like
He's a
is
different breed, man.
when you are that physically capable, you can be honest, right? You can ask hard questions. You can be honest about stuff because people are less likely to be offended or try to come at you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, what I really like about Joe Rogan, I've never talked about him on my podcast before, but what I really like about him is the fact that he's intelligent and introspective and genuine, right? When he's asking questions of these people, it never seems to be because there's an agenda, right? Like to try to get them to say a certain thing. It's genuinely because he's trying to learn something,
Hmm.
right? Gain understanding or insight or wisdom on something. I really respect him. I respect what he does. It's funny too because to see him go from like Fear Factor host, you know what I mean, and sitting at the side of the UFC ring talking about fights, like I remember all that stuff when he started, and to see him now, like
And he's
you
been such
said,
an advocate for marijuana for so long, and
yes,
like he knows that, like you know what you're getting with him. He's not making it secret,
right.
you
And
know.
what I like about him, I've done very similar things for almost 20 years with marijuana too, talking to nurses and doctors and trying to share actual information, right? Empirical data with these people to say, look, there's this stereotype that pot smokers are idiots and burnouts and aren't doing anything with their life, right? And that weed is a negative thing. And Joe Rogan and me too, like going, that's bullshit. I'm smart. I'm a badass. You know what I mean? Like I can prove
Hmm.
it. And I like weed. So you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
kiss my ass.
Right.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and
Yep.
who's gonna tell Joe Rogan he's wrong? Right? Like the dude can kick a tree down. Like
Right.
he's
Well, he's the definition of alpha, an alpha male, you know, in the sense
Oh,
of
sure, sure.
he doesn't need to go around saying he's the alpha. Everybody knows he's the alpha. Like,
He
bro,
could
yeah, you like
like
you don't need to, I'm not arguing, nobody's arguing you're the alpha
I
dog. You
think
know,
I
the
think
alpha dog ain't got to bark, man.
he could kick a tree over and the tree would apologize for having been in the way. You know what
You're
I
probably
mean? Like,
Pardon me, Rogan.
my
Rogan's the
bad.
next Chuck Norris.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, but let's start making jokes about Joe Rogan like we do about Chuck Norris. For
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. For
yeah,
sure, man. Well, all right. Is there something we haven't talked about yet that you cuz this is like we're having fun, right? But at the same
sure.
time, this is a public format and it is D Live specific, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a company show. And D Live said from the very beginning they would never officially endorse fireside chats that they can't that it's not right. It's not part of what they would do. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, fine, this isn't to promote the company. This is to promote streamers, right? And to promote the community, us, not the business. So you were here with Steam. You were here with Lino. We're here going into whatever this new thing is. Good, bad, indifferent. You're just gonna see like where are you at with it?
Well, I would like to invoke channel Cali Meatwagon. He said for a very long time, ever since D Live left Steam, was to decentralize yourself, and you know, don't consider not being platform specific, only from the sense of if they pull the rug out from underneath you, what do you do? You know, now some people you say, hey, you know, one platform, and that's fine. Um, I feel it's very important to really get in deep with all the different platforms' abilities and really show a focus on a platform and you know center your marketing around that. It's a lot more difficult for somebody like me who streams to you know 5 6 different platforms to know about embers and bits and know all the intricacies of there and have a different strategy for each one. That's just tough, you know.
Okay, so maybe you could help somebody like me. I am here for the community. So let's say that goes away, whether it's because DLive as a company folds or because whatever this new migration is makes the
Hmm.
company or the community unrecognizable.
Hmm.
What do guys like me do? I'm here because of the DLive community. It goes away. I don't know. I'm not in a hurry to start streaming again on another platform.
Hmm. Well, that wouldn't be for everybody. You know, most people are still going to want to stream. I know for me, when I get to the point where I'm expecting myself to stream every single day, if I don't stream for a day, it does feel a little weird. Just like when you work out every day or something, you don't feel right. It's not right. Um, so I think you know for some people that make more of a habit of streaming consistently, you're gonna have to itch that somehow.
Oh, sure. I could
You
see
know,
that.
and whatever links your communication with your community. You know, I know some people that made a very easy transition from D Live to other platforms just because the focal point of their community was within their Discord server. And it
Mm.
was a very easy transition for them.
So their community, that's an interesting point. Their community wasn't built necessarily on DLive. Their community was built in a third party application that's just for
Well,
building a community, right?
no,
Just
I wouldn't say that. I would say D Live helped them build that community, and the Discord just fully like further
I see what
fostered
you're
that
saying.
community.
So
Yeah.
like I was on Twitch before as a viewer, right? That's how I hung out with LT Zonda on Twitch when he was there, played games together. I liked to watch him stream, and I came to D Live because he came to D Live, right? But when I was on Twitch, never ever did it occur to me to want to stream. I just there isn't a community on Twitch like I found on D Live over the last year,
Hmm.
right? Like you don't know the people in chat, right? You're not having
Hmm.
conversations in Discord, sharing family photos, right? Calling each
Well,
other in the hospital. That's
well,
not
like
what
you
I
said,
found.
D Live is more of a streaming community. We're all friends of we're all mostly streamers and we're mostly friends with streamers, and that's the
Right, right,
basis of the platform. So you're
right.
gonna have that strong, like that's always been something that we've struggled with was, we are top heavy on streamers to viewers,
Yes,
you know?
absolutely. And I think we all knew at some point D Live would have to change, right? Like you can't just be a community of streamers watching
Mhm.
streamers. You need you need it like 10 to well, you need 100 to 1 or more, right? Like this two, three, four people in each channel, that's not sustainable, right? The numbers aren't there. You need 100 people, 1,000 people in each channel to grow and to thrive and to prosper. And to be honest, those numbers aren't available on DLive. They haven't been available, right? Bringing PewDiePie was obviously part of trying to bring more people to the platform. Um, I don't. How did that feel to you when all that happened? Did you see that coming, and do you think it had the intended effect that they were looking for?
Yeah, I did see it coming. Actually, I predicted it for the announcement. And I can't remember who. Tony Tony might have remembered that. Twin might somebody. I said it, and it was confirmed later that, like, yeah, I called it. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't know for sure, but I just knew that they're gonna try to sponsor somebody. That's the latest game, is to sponsor somebody. Mixer
Hmm.
sponsors people. They give
Well,
them a
I
contract.
it seems strange though that they went after a content creator, right? Like
Yeah,
go after a live
yeah,
streamer, go after one of
yeah,
the largest live streamers.
yeah.
Content creation and live streaming are not the same thing.
Yeah, that was just a splash, man. That was just a splash play. It's you
But it felt like shit to those of us that were streaming every day trying to build a community and everybody saying grow your community organically. It's the only way it's sustainable, right? And then they go,
Mhm.
actually, as a company, we're not going to do that. We're going to
No,
tell you
yeah.
to do that, but we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to pay to play, and we're going to hope it works. I don't think it did. Now,
I
statistically, it
feel
did.
they I feel that they thought that that growth after that was sustainable. I thought that they kind of
Oh,
cashed out on leaving the people that have been there for a while out to dry.
that's what it
Um
felt like.
there's a lot of people that felt that way, that
And and
it
that
got too big too quick, and then all of a sudden, like, you're just going to forget about the people that made it, and then shortly after, when that growth isn't sustainable, now you're coming back and lowering standards and stuff
okay,
like
but I
that.
think it's less. I think it's partially that, but I think the problem was it did what they wanted, right? It increased their numbers dramatically in a short period of time, which looked
Hmm.
really good on paper. However, they're trying to interject content creators and content creation consumers with live streamers. They're different communities. These are different
Hmm.
people.
Just like that was brought up with the point that the bit live stream, they don't necessarily watch the live stream.
You're cutting out real bad. I think you're getting too far away from the mic, buddy, or something.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm losing you.
yeah, I'm not sure. So basically, the BitTorrent users
Hmm.
aren't necessarily going to come over to D Live. Okay, yeah, the BitTorrent app has D Live link on there, but how many people are really coming over? Now, I know one of Justin Sun's streams had like 34,000 replays. Not the latest one with Charles, but the ones before that, that had thousands of viewers from BitTorrent and Tron and
So
crypto
what?
people.
So this is something I know nothing about. This Justin's current company that DLive is merging with. Is it a live streaming platform? I mean, what is it that he has that we're being combined with?
Um, Basically, I've heard nothing but the storage. He said something about BeLive, the failed decentralized streaming platform that they try to do. Something about merging with them, and then other than that, the only thing I hear him talking about is BitTorrent and storage.
So
So I don't really
so
know.
if you're
I don't. I honestly don't know. I say that I think a lot change, but I mean, maybe not. You know.
well, no, but if what I'm hearing, okay, I'm an autistic guy, right? So I'm a pattern matching guy. So I'm not thinking emotionally. I'm just listening and I'm seeing patterns. It sounds like the conversation we were having when you said D Live showed up at Steam It to gather a community and take it to where they wanted. Now that community is being gathered and being taken somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like like we're being traded as the commodity, but we're not benefiting from it necessarily.
Well, from the way Justin jumps out with numbers all the time, you know, it's all about user base for him. That's all it is the user base.
Well, and he's speaking about future acquisitions and stuff. It definitely seems to be a numbers game for him. But is that a bad thing, right? If you have a businessman running the business, that sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. The response to that some people would have was just the trust that they have in Justin's son and his projects.
Well, I've
Yeah.
heard now, I have no knowledge of this, but I have heard whispers of, well, didn't he have some other venture that went horribly wrong or something? And people are like humming and hawing about that, or is that completely off base?
It's just kind of the general things he's involved with and the things that he's said and done. Um, some could say that it's maybe lost in translation kind of stuff or benefit of the doubt.
Well,
But at the
not
same
knowing
time,
him personally, just seeing like publicly available information, he definitely seems to be a numbers guy. He's a money guy and a
Mhm.
numbers guy. He's not a PR rep or a community relations expert. You know what I mean? He doesn't I don't think he gives a shit about us and our relationships that we've formed over the last couple of years on D-Lab.
No,
He's
no,
we're just an
no more
acquisition.
than he has to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't think any of us need to kid ourselves and think
He
that's what's
certainly
happening.
he certainly didn't buy a streaming platform because ability to stream. We all saw how those go. You know what I mean? Like they're uncomfortable in front of the camera, you know.
Right. So I think if everybody were just a little more honest about who they were and what they were in this for, it'd be fine. I think we're fine. I think, like I keep saying, I'm fine and I'm part of D Live. I am part of the community. I'm still here. I'm still streaming. I'm still fine. So if you want to join me and still be fine, sweet. And if you
Mhm.
want to go somewhere else, fine. That's okay. I'm still getting out of D Live what I was looking for, which is I get to stream and I get to hang out with people I've known. If that stops for one reason or another, business wise, and I can't stream on D Live anymore because of whatever happens, I would be inclined to try to find that community elsewhere, but I don't think I would be inclined to stream somewhere else, right? Like I was hanging out with Zonda on Twitch, but I wasn't streaming on Twitch.
Mhm.
So I like the reason I stream is because the people that are here, right? Not because I want them to know me or meet me, is because I know them and like them and want to spend time with them.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I have no preconceived notions of success or failure of D Live or even myself as a streamer. I don't look at it like that, right? Like I deal with today. Today I can stream. I'm streaming. Sweet. Like tomorrow we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not so worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, at no point did I ever give any consideration of, "Hey, maybe I should do this full time." You know what I mean? I don't wanna do this full time. And, 2, like, yeah, I'm not that guy. Like, that's not something that I wanna do anyways. But, yeah, I mean, there's people out there that are doing it, but, for me, it's never been about that, and that's why you can look at my wallet, you can see how much I made and how much I have. Like, I've given well over 2/3 of what I've made on this platform back to the platform. It's been consistent. Um,
I was laughing because I've been here. as long as I've been here, I just issued a cash out, with leaving Lino and all that. And I
Mm-hmm.
had to set up the account so that I could cash out. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, well, clearly I've never cashed out, like,
Right.
um,
Yep.
because this is already would have been set up. But like, if since we're talking about money, I feel like I was willing to trust the platform and invest my money. So all the money I was given and earned, I gave away. And the stuff that I locked in, for the most part, I purchased and locked in myself
Okay. Okay.
because I wanted to support D Live and I wanted to support Lino because I could
Right.
see they were linked. So I kept the money on D Live and gave my own money to Lino. Right. Well, with the way they handled the main net launch announcements and then wait until the last day of the quarter to tell us sorry, I don't trust them now, right? Like, that's not cool. You can't treat me like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I learned from very old people back in the day living in the country, like, if you give somebody a chance and they show you they can't be trusted and then they screw you over again later, that's your fault because they already showed you that you're not a consideration for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel. Do I feel slighted? Of course I feel slighted. I think we all were. I think it was disrespectful the way it was handled. And I'm going to take my money and I'm going to give it to somebody else that I trust. you know? Meantime, I can separate that emotionally from the streaming part of D Live. If I get to continue, like if D Live doesn't take offense to what I'm saying, which I don't think they would, um, I'm X Tag Chat, right? We're grown adults having a respectful conversation. I'm not bad mouthing anyone in particular. I'm just saying I can separate that. I'm gonna take my money. They don't get my money anymore. Sorry, I don't trust you with it. But
I've never felt that I haven't been able to fairly criticize anything, you
right,
know.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like I appreciate the freedom of speech that I have on D Live. I appreciate being able to turn on my camera and have my show the way I want to have my show, day in and day out. I think that's fantastic.
Mhm.
And I appreciate D Live for giving me that opportunity. And I appreciate the D Live community for being a part of it.
Mhm.
But I can separate those. I don't know if it's because I'm autistic or not, but like, don't trust you with my money. I'm going to take that back. Still love the family, still want to be a part of the community, still going to keep streaming as long as it's available.
Mhm.
I think those are separate things. They could be made separate. I don't know. Right? Like I don't think any of the staff have screwed me over personally. I don't think Charles has screwed me over personally. And I don't know enough about Lino or the blockchain or cryptocurrency to know if they screwed me over or not. I mean, if I'm being given my money back, I feel that's sweet. You know what I mean? Like that's
Honestly, I
sweet.
think that I feel that Justin's son is gonna let anybody that want. Yeah, I think Justin's son is paying for it. I think that's part of it is that he leveraged the Lino. Was
I
like, all
think
right,
so. I agree. And see, and that's why I'm saying this. I'm saying like I'm going to keep supporting D Live because they gave me my money back, right? Like I
Mhm.
understand what was
Oh,
done.
they had to, and
Whoa.
even with out of the country things with trade the BTT exchanging value for value, they have to. How can you're not going to be able to keep running after like,
Well,
oh, dude, you just hose your entire community. Why would
right,
anybody?
right, right.
Why would any? You know.
Well, and there's probably laws governing what was done and said, you know what I mean? And there would have been some backlash
Mhm.
that way, but my point is they're giving us our money back. They go, "Look, we
Mhm.
what we said, what was presented, that's not what happened. If you want to take your money back, we understand. Here you go." Right? So, as an American, because I know in different countries it's different, I was able to put in a request. Now I haven't gotten the money back. I think they do it twice a month, so maybe by the end of the month.
Hmm.
But the point is, I'm getting money back that I never thought I would get back. Honestly, like
Right.
I thought, well, that sucks, and like they screwed us, and the way they did it hurt. Like I was offended personally that they told us it's the community and told us we were part of making the decisions, and then nothing until the very last day, and then it was like, yeah, sorry, didn't work out. Like, well, fuck,
About that.
you know,
About that. Yeah.
like fuck. But still love the community, still love streaming here, and if the new owner is genuinely interested in preserving D Live, cool, great, right? If it's gonna get folded in like another just in another company, and he's gonna buy the next one and fold that in, and buy the next one and fold that in, and the whole idea of having like a community feel to a live streaming platform disappears, then I my loyalty is, I lose that need to
The
feel loyal anymore.
the question is, of the people that are still on the platform that don't give a crap about any of that, which is obviously the people still here. There
Right.
and there's I mean, yeah, it's been dying, but I don't want to say it's been dying because that's not fair. I feel that of the people there's have you ever been in sales, Joe? About having stuff in the hopper? You know, you always got to have stuff in the hopper.
No, I don't have a reference for that.
If you just have general turnover in streaming, people going to different platforms anyways, if there's like a certain percentage of turnover already, if you want to keep the amount of people that stream and followers up, you gotta constantly be meeting new people. And that was something I wasn't
Mm.
doing for a while because it was so overwhelming at all the new streamers after PewDiePie. We
Hmm.
had access to a channel on Discord as partners to where it would give us a link whenever somebody made their first stream, and I think they still have that. But it's like back after PewDiePie, it was just too much. You know what I mean? There's like 12, 24, 30 new streamers on the platform every day. Um, so like for people who don't add new streamers to their follows, like it feels like it's dying. I think overall usage has gone down, but it feels a lot worse if you're not following anybody
Yeah,
or anybody new.
I realized that too, Eric, and that's a good point because there had been so many people I already followed that anytime I wanted to watch a show, I could just go to the following tab and there's, 2 or 3 dozen options.
Hmm.
Well, now if I go to my following tab, there could be five, six,
Hmm.
and I realized I wasn't doing that. I wasn't going to the homepage and looking for new streamers,
Yeah,
and because of that, like you said, it felt like the platform wasn't growing still. But then when I went to the homepage and started looking around, I didn't recognize any of them, and I was like, "Wow!"
that.
I stopped networking with new
Yep.
streamers at some point. And I don't know
Yep.
why that happened. It may be a natural thing, a natural
You get
tendency.
you start ended up getting that are always on and that you are entertained by
Hmm.
those people. And then it gets to the point where if your core isn't in there, you may have a couple of people that you're following, but you're like, I'm not in the mood. That person's a great guy, but I'm not, that's the wrong kind of energy for tonight,
Mm.
what have you. And then you just get to the point where you're like, well, I'm either gonna find new streamers or go do something else, you know.
I need to find new streamers because, and here's why. To be perfectly honest with you, I'd rather go outside and sit quietly. You know what I mean? I live in the country, it's quiet. My dog's laying in the sun next to me. I prefer that. But I want to find new streamers on D Live because I want D Live to succeed. And
Hmm.
that's like you said, we get energy from this. We get attention from this. I have friends here. I have relationships here. I feel better when I spend time on D Live. Right? So if that means I need to expand my horizon and expand to new streamers and find new content creation that I like here on this platform, I'll do that. And we should anyway, right? Like just as streamers to keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can't get content. We can't rest on our laurels. To say that, hey, we found all the people we want to meet and we're good. Like, come on, man. There's a lot of great talent. Like, I had a random the guy's name's Random. Him and his friend used to stream on here a lot. I was into streams a lot. I want to say I was in his first stream. I think I dropped a Ninja Genie on him or something. Hadn't seen the guy in a while, haven't talked to the guy in a while. He pops in the other day, drops a Ninja Genie on me. Haven't even seen him on D Live in like 3 months. You know what I mean? Like, and there's like, or just some people will pop in and say, "Hey, you were on my first stream," and it's like, really? Like, dang, I didn't realize I was on. Like, it's no offense, but for a long time I was going to, 3 people their first stream on D Live. Because we had little alerts within the Discord server. We could go to people's first streams on D Live.
Hmm.
So
I
for a
remember that.
while, I was heavy on that for a
Hmm.
long time.
Yeah.
And so still to this day, people will be like, "Yeah, you were on my first stream." Oh, dang.
Yeah, I remember like because when all that was going, I found a few streamers and they were changing the requirements. Like, well, to be a partner, you had to had like 2000 Lino or something locked in at the
Mhm,
time, and there was a few other requirements. And this one guy he's a young man, just lost his job, looking for a new job. This whole thing, just moved back to his home country, trying to reestablish himself, right? And he was really stressed out about that Lino, having that Lino locked in. So I literally went and bought Lino and then gave it to him so he could
oh,
lock it
yeah.
in, right? So he
Yeah.
could not think about that. And
I actually donated a Ninja Genie to listen, I'll give this to you, lock it. And, like, they
yeah.
locked it right on the stream.
Yeah, and
That's
it
cool.
but like that's what I'm saying. Like that's the level when I found stagnation, followed him, subscribed to him, went to his Patreon, subscribed to that, went to the game he was building on D Live, bought that, like just because it was interesting to me and it was
Mhm.
unique. I'd never seen anybody else on D Live doing that, and I was like, I want to encourage this guy to keep streaming here. And it turns out he's been here for a while, and I'm just late to the party. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
Yep.
I was that's it takes those kind of actions to keep that community strong, right? And I forget that sometimes, honestly. I forget I need to keep including the new people because like those of us that have been on D Live for a while now, if we don't include the new people in our circle, they're gonna feel like they showed up, nobody, welcomed them, and then they're gonna
Mhm.
leave quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, what the community is now is not what made it great. And I'm part of that. I used to be a lot more involved in the community and promoting the community. I used to do streams where I just sit there and smoke, and I would just watch other people on D Live. I it was I With Steam, curation's really important. Finding good
Mm.
talent and doing curation. So like I would try to find streams that new streams that were gonna get upvoted by D Live. So I try to get an upvote before
Mm.
D Live would, and then I would get more in rewards because D Live, that's the whole math equation of that is you're finding the talent first before the whales find it, and so there's a drive to like share those that content.
Mhm.
Um, so I used to do curation shows where that's all I would do. So I would have actually Steam whales that would occasionally come by my stream and they would just hang out and they would upvote people based off of the curation that I was doing of just going and they'd say, okay, I'm about to throw in a $5 on the stream, make sure you get an upvote first. And then the
Mm.
people on my stream would run in there and upvote it real quick before the whale did, because then they all get benefit from that. And that was a lot of fun.
See,
And
that's
I would still do curation after it went to Lino. And people it ended up getting to a point where I had a lot of people just hanging out doing a chat and we're just, they'd go in there and throw some donations to them and we just kind of do mini raids and stuff.
That's actually part of why I didn't like Steam, because I didn't understand that side of it, right? Upvotes and promoting them and all of that.
Hmm.
Um, like that's also why I don't restream to other platforms or do chat bots and all. Like I find it complicating enough, like complicated enough to stream without adding more platforms and more chats and more
Right.
currencies and like I don't know. I mean it seems like at a certain point that becomes the show instead of whatever entertainment value you originally started providing.
Sure.
Right? There's always a code to enter or a hype. There's always some hype, some reason to keep you watching. I'm like, I'm watching because I want to watch you because I
Right.
like you. You don't need to keep convincing me to stay. Right?
Right.
And I find those streams exhausting and I don't stay in them long. Like I
Sure.
like hearing you talk. I like watching you play that game. Like just do
Hmm.
that. There's so many live streamers that got they forgot about the fact that we are entertainment. We're supposed to be entertaining,
Right.
right? Like people are choosing to watch us instead of TV or instead of a game or instead of going outside or you know what I mean? Like I don't know. If you're not entertaining, I don't see the draw. But I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just old or naive or something, but I feel like if you're not having a good time, it makes sense that you would want to go somewhere else where you're having a better time,
Yeah.
right? But
Well,
maybe you're not having a good time because your perception of the event, right? Like maybe if you changed your perception, you could still have a good time, right? In terms of all these people that are leaving D Live right now. Well, you can, but I don't think you need to, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with the D Live community. I think, and if you look at the history of live streaming, every platform that's you can live stream on was something else before it is what it is now.
hmm.
They change, they grow, there's different buyers, there's different currencies, there's different blockchains. I think that's just a natural part of this industry. I don't think it's something to be concerned about.
Well, with the we may be seeing a Bitcoin rally on the horizon, but
Hmm.
certainly with the low Bitcoin prices, um, developers are having a hard time keeping the money flowing,
Hmm.
and that's just kind of a Bitcoin wide issue. But the ones that are surviving right now, the ones that are consolidating and pooling resources and playing the game and doing what they need to do to stay survive, those are going to be the ones that catapult
Hmm.
when Bitcoin does rally. We saw that just the other day. Steam price went up. It was floating around 10 cents for a while, for a long time, and then it's go up to like 14 and drop to 11, and but it's over 10. It's been getting You've been getting support at 10 cents consistently, and then overnight it goes up from like 12, 13 cents to 20 cents.
Hmm.
You know, and then it's I don't know what it's at now, like 15 cents or whatever. But point of my story there is the ones that are sticking around, they're going to benefit. They're building up these stake of these coins that are hopefully going to rebound, and not all of them are. Not all of them are going to be carried through when Bitcoin gets bullish.
Well, most of them aren't,
No.
right? Like the sheer volume and numbers against cryptocurrency is staggering. Like your success rate is very low.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it is there's so many organizations and groups trying to vie for it.
Mm.
Um, survival of the fittest. Like I have a Steam there's a smart contract exchange on Steam. I created a smart contract token on there called Based Token, and fooling around with that and trying to provide value for that. It's cool, man. It's a lot of fun.
I actually looked into that a little bit because another streamer was talking to me about it, and I said, "Oh, it sounds like it'd be fun to have Joe Crypto, as a
Sure.
joke." So,
Yeah.
so we went to the site, and we start looking at it, and he was like, but you're the one that has to provide value. And I go, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, I'm doing some coaching, one-on-one coaching with this certain thing, or I'm doing, one-on-one gameplay, and I was like, oh, I get it. So instead of like a bank backing the money with gold, you're saying the value of the currency is your time, or some.
Oh yeah, yeah. What is Pygos is doing that.
Hmm.
Enforcer's doing that.
Hmm.
I think Twin Gats was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's an interesting because it's a token, but it's based on, I think, the Ethereum blockchain, isn't it? Or one of those. It's based on a cryptocurrency blockchain.
Something like that. The ones they're doing, I can't quite remember. Yeah,
I don't
but
know. See,
like Pygos will do like a chart reading for you at a certain points.
right, but that stuff's over my head, man. I'm not trying to work that hard. Like, I'm giving you value by turning my camera on.
Sure.
Like, I don't have. I don't want to
Yeah, and
be.
that's the beauty, and that you can be as involved as stuff.
Say again, you cut out.
You can be as involved as you want to be with
Oh,
any
right,
of
right.
it.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I don't want to be tied to this that intricately, right? Like, I stream when I want to stream. I don't when I don't. And I don't want it to feel like work, right? Like, I
Mhm.
want to enjoy streaming. And as soon as I started, like, remember when I said to you, you were like, oh, you've got 40 cents in Steam It or whatever. And I was like, I'll pay you 50 cents to not have to worry about that, my 40 cents.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't care. Uh, like, it's not, I don't see any value in it, even though, like,
Mhm.
there's tangible value. I don't see it being worth my time
Sure.
in terms of the amount of stress and attention and time it would take to extrapolate any sort of tangible, asset, right? Money or
Mhm.
crypto or something. It's not worth the effort and time and concentration and time in this chair to me personally.
Our attention is very, very valuable,
Yeah.
and we change all the time. For a while on D Live, Axie Infinity was a big deal. For it's just we play games, we enjoy them, we get burned out of them, we find something else, a new game comes out. In my case, Stardew's been out. I recently got on that. Man, I've been kind of borderline addicted to it lately. Just whatever scratches that itch for a little while
Well, I was gonna say, what are you streaming these days? Because I saw you today. You were streaming videos and commenting, basically, right?
Yeah, I meant to do Stardew Valley. I just never got into it. Um, I remember just a few weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, I come to conclusion. I'm not a game streamer. I'm not a game streamer. Not a game streamer. And then like I start seeing Tony Romo playing some Stardew Valley, and I'm like, dang, this looks like a game I can get into. And Leonor actually gifted me the game, and I've been pretty hot and heavy on it for a couple weeks. But for the most part, it's pretty focused around just chilling and chatting, man. Chilling, smoking, chatting, watching funny videos.
What's your
Um,
schedule?
I don't necessarily have one, though. I would say I stream more often than not. I'm going to be streaming. Um, Usually, you know, 7-ish, 7-ish Eastern, until midnight or later. Lately, I've been drinking tea instead of energy drinks, and I've been getting to bed at a decent hour and kind of ending the streams a little earlier when I do stream. But
Nice.
yeah,
Hey, taking care of yourself is important. It
it was
is.
see for a while was I was at the point where I would start my stream about 6 or 7, and like my strength was that I was usually streaming longer than most people. So
Mm,
I would accumulate viewers as the night went on. Or even like people that fell asleep watching me, or sometimes like I'll do it for friends. I'll be watching a stream and I'll be going to the gas station and be like, "Man, I'm just gonna leave your stream playing. There's no point in me, just so I noticed like you kind of add viewers like that as the night goes on,
hmm.
the longer you stream. And then so what would happen was all the A tiers, they'd get all their viewers about 8 o'clock. That was like prime time, 8 to 10, 8 to
Mm.
11. Well, as they would start dropping off because they're only doing 2 to 3 hour streams. Hey, look who's still there, Eric. Going on hour 7 at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So then it'd get to the point where I would literally double my viewership from midnight to 1 o'clock, and I'm tired and I want to go to bed. But man, when you got the viewers, you
Yep.
feel like the worst thing you can do. You want to keep it going, man. And so there'd be very oftentimes I would want to go to bed at 1 and I would stream past 2 just because it's like, yo, chat's killing it. Like
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
the
I'm having a lot of
juiciest
fun.
hosts come at the end of the night when you're about like 5 minutes before you're ready to log off.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you
It's
say
like,
no to that?
come on, man.
Like you feel like you owe it to the person throwing you that host, you
That's
know?
that's cool though. I would say like be cautious of streaming too long because
Yeah, absolutely.
like I've tried it. I've tried 6 hours, 8 hours, and 12 hours, and found that my preferred streaming length is 4 hours. I just like more than that. I don't put out the same quality of energy,
No, no, for sure. Absolutely.
right? The
And
conversation,
not
my
everybody
pain.
can.
Yeah, like I physically can't sit here that long. It's too much, right? Just personally. So
Hmm.
I try to like, although I generally won't stream if I don't think I can stream at least 2 hours, right? Like I won't hop on for an hour stream. I don't know why. Like I feel like that's a valid niche, right? Like hop on for an hour and mess around, but I don't, right? Like if I'm gonna mess around in a game just to do maintenance or something, say GTA 5 and run a few missions, I won't stream that.
Hmm.
I because it takes, like you were saying, it kind of takes a while to build the audience, and then by the time you are ready to go, that's your best audience of the night.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, for a long time, it's if I'm playing the game, I'm streaming. And
Hmm.
that was my attitude for a really long time. And I don't think that's bad, but I definitely got to the point where just like with disc golf, I told you to where I was a better disc golfer when I didn't play every day.
Hmm.
I'm better when I'm just not like, oh, gotta stream, oh, gotta stream, oh, gotta play disc golf, oh, gotta play disc golf. When I don't do it as much, I enjoy it more and I do better because I enjoy it more because I'm in a better mood. I have more energy. I feel better about it. Doesn't feel like a chore.
Hmm.
You start getting in the habit of doing anything every single day and it just becomes a chore. Just like growing weed, trimming, helping out, that's still a job. Everybody's like, oh, trimming, so much fun. Yeah, do it for 8 hours straight and see if you still have that kind of energy.
Yeah, for
You
like
know,
3 months.
yeah, yes, yes, 8 hour days at least, closer to 10 hour days.
Yeah,
You
for
just get to the
months.
point where you're like anything else but this. I will make meth right now. Like, just
No,
get
I
me
don't know
out
about that.
of.
No, well, it's funny because when I started streaming, I streamed for like, I forget the exact number, if it was 110 days or 113 days straight. I don't know why. I was
Sounds
obsessed with
about right.
like streaming
Yeah.
every day, even days that I definitely didn't want to and shouldn't have.
Mhm.
And it took me something against medical, and I know, was in the hospital and I was like couldn't stream, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad that it broke my streak." I didn't want to stream every day. I don't know why
Yeah.
I was, right?
Yeah.
But I just you get sucked into that. Like gaming when you
Mhm.
know you're not a gamer, streaming when you don't want to stream,
Mhm.
staying for 12 hours when 4 is better.
Man,
Um,
it took me a while to learn that. I'd be starting my stream, rolling a joint, chilling, and then I'd get done and I'd feel the obligation to turn on the game, and I'd turn on the game and then just plummet. It's like they weren't hanging out to watch my gameplay, they're hanging out to
right.
hang out. Just because like I
Yep.
was like I feel like my stream is kind of that just, like I don't feel like watching a game. We're just hanging out listening. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot to be said for the value of that. Um,
Well,
we're
I
kind of all in the same
definitely,
boat of like we just want to be social, but
yeah, yeah.
on our own terms. You know?
Also, as I say, I have much better audiences when I chat than if I try to gameplay. Because like
Yeah.
you, I'm a potato. I'm not a gamer. I get it. I think people watch me play games because I'm not good, and it's funny, and I laugh at myself, right? And
Sure.
like I think there's a niche market for that too, professional potato. Um,
Sure.
but also I enjoy the interaction with the people. That's why I'm streaming. I'm not streaming because I'm a gamer and I want you to see how awesome I am. I'm not a gamer and I'm not awesome at gaming. Right?
Mhm.
I just
Right.
want to hang out with you and talk to you.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, a lot of times if you see me playing a game, it's because the audience isn't available and I'm trying to have something to talk about until the audience is available. Right? Like
Right.
Fleek
Yeah.
says, yeah, professional truck sim streamer. Exactly. I play American Truck Simulator because I can have a conversation during that.
Well, and that's I found Stardew Valley, it's so calming and soothing, but I have a hard time multitasking, man. I'm really inefficient when I'm streaming. So it's just kind of one of those things like I have
Easily
difficulty
distracted.
being yeah, yeah, me too.
Squirrel.
So like even Minecraft, I thought Minecraft was a great way for that, and it's like, no, that's
I tried to
not a
stream
great game to
Minecraft, but I get into it too much and forget I'm streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that's where I just come to the point. Man, I'm not a game streamer. I'll just happen to play, but I'm not a game streamer. I'm a
Dude,
chilling chat streamer. And you know what? I was just recently thinking about bringing back the curation show every once in a while.
do it.
Just
Do
to
it.
get to meet some new
Like,
streamers.
you know what's funny? I watched Drew for I don't know. It had to have been several months before I realized he was just chatting. Like that he
Hmm.
I right like I don't know why, but I go I don't think I've ever seen him play a game.
No, I don't think he does. He just hangs out, man.
Well, but you see, I still had it in my head at the time to be a live streamer, you had to be a gamer.
Right.
I
Well,
thought I thought
let
they were
me
linked and they're just not.
let me tell you a little story. I don't know how responsible I am for would you I feel that D Live does have more of a chatting vibe, more of a chatting community than in comparison to other platforms. Obviously gaming is still very big, but
I
I
would
feel that
agree. The focus on
I
D Live is the chatting for sure.
so here's the thing, man, is back in the day when they're on Steam, I started D Live 24 hour, which is basically I would curate talented streamers and get in touch with them and we'd get them on a schedule. Not that I would like have them make a schedule, but they were just like, "Hey, do you have a time you generally stream? A day you generally stream? A time you generally stream?" So like a lot of them didn't necessarily have that. It caused some to kind of consider it a little bit more, but some were already like, "Oh yeah, yeah, no problem, man. I stream this time and this time, this day, this day." And so I started making a schedule. Well, the whole point of me doing that was I wanted to make a non-gaming schedule.
Hmm.
So I grew it, I grew it until I got to we had enough non gamers I could split it off and have a gaming schedule and a non gaming schedule. And then so from there we had music, art, talk shows. Like that was awesome because you're not finding that anywhere else. You're not finding the kind of schedule, a non gaming schedule. I
Hmm.
mean, nobody was really doing a gaming schedule, but for the non-gaming, that was what I was most proud about, and that's what I like pumped up more. So you have a lot of artists on D Live. You have a lot of you know, a lot of the people that were on the schedule before, um, specifically the artists. Man, there's a lot of artists still here, still floating around, and it's just
Well,
I
I
think that
think
was kind of part of them bringing this over was that community. That's the Steam community is talented outside of just streaming. People are on Steam not necessarily because they stream, because up to that point there wasn't a streaming. You know what I mean? Like people will come to Steam because of D Live at this point, but you didn't really have streamers that were already in the community. So you had
well, I
video
think
creators that were thinking about streaming.
D Live kind of became the home for a lot of streamers that didn't fit on these other platforms that were very game centric, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
And I love
yeah,
that. That's why I really wanted to support D Live because I'm an artist at heart, right? Like, but sometimes I write, sometimes photography, sometimes there's all these, it just depends on the day. And there wasn't anywhere, there wasn't a group that cared, right? Like for the artists didn't have a digital place to share their art, right? And I
Mhm.
remember watching sculptors on D Live, like clay sculptors, digital artists, pencil and ink artists, musicians,
I wish we had more
chefs.
of that now, man.
Yeah, like that. I really liked when D Live had the idea to have the D Live creative group, right? And the different Discord server, and they all started really
Well,
supporting each other.
that was not necessarily initiated by D Live. That was just encouraged. They were encouraged to do that with a
Well,
group.
no, right. You're right.
But
I didn't
yeah.
say that correctly. There, it was them supporting each other, which is what I was getting around to.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just to echo your point. Like D Live kind of felt like it became the place for you to be a live streamer, but you didn't have to necessarily be a gamer, and you could still be successful.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yep.
Hey,
Yep.
I'm still trucking, Fleet. Don't you worry. Bama's still trucking. Hey, Juder, you guys got to help me understand how to do the uptime in Tidy Labs because I looked for it and I couldn't find it.
A live music channel would be nice. I actually have talked to a local band about streaming it. That never worked out, but they're still open to it. I don't want to. These guys are starting to kind of get big. They're actually playing. They opened up for Sublime tonight. Um, Sublime with Rome. But they travel too much. It's like, dude, I don't want to be chasing, helping them stream like an hour and a half away from home, like 3 times a week. You know what I mean? Like, I'll help them get set up and stuff, but I feel like they kind of me to help do it all the time, and that's not me, man. I'm not that guy. You know? But I guess like if they ever made it big, that'd be cool. But I don't know. Yeah, live music would be great, man. I'd love to see people doing live music, streaming on here.
Well, and Rowdy Souls is on D Live. They've been going through some stuff lately, but I really enjoyed finding Rowdy Souls on D Live. Right, a live four-piece band. They played a couple times a week.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
yeah, it's been great actually. But I that's what I'm saying. Like D Live has been really good to me. I'm not gonna let the business decisions affect my loyalty to my friends on the platform. It just doesn't come into the equation for me.
Yeah, I always wanted to see kind of a widget on the platform to can make their own schedules into where you can kind of look at it as like a TV guide and see
Hmm.
what kind of shows are coming up and stuff. Specifically, I think that's more demand for non-gaming. I think more people would kind of look up that stuff for non-gaming than specifically gaming, but I'm a little jaded in that regard. Only I didn't even see. Here's the thing, man. I was not involved with streaming until D Live. So like there was like streamer etiquette and all this stuff and blah blah.
Hmm.
I didn't know any of that. So there's people coming in from other platforms that know the culture and know the etiquette and blah blah blah. Blah. And I'm coming in here like a wrecking ball. You know, it's like I don't know, man. I'm just being friendly. Like I annoyed some people, dude, being so friendly. Like, yeah, he talks too much or he asks too many questions and it's distracting from the stream and stuff. And it's like, well, then don't turn on your stream. Then aren't you here to talk to me, mother? You know, like
I did some of the same stuff when I first started too. Yeah, people are good. Don't self promote. What do you mean? I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm just trying to say hi, and me
mhm.
too. I don't understand how to stream.
Yeah. And as far as the TV guide style, I actually did that with the D Live 24 hour. I actually had it loaded in a Google Calendar to where you could add the calendar to your personal calendar and you could see anybody who streams, or you could add just specific streamers and add it to your Google Calendar. You know what I mean? So I set up alerts before D Live even had alerts. You know?
Like now that's a cool idea, but for me, I'm a little more pragmatic about stuff, right? Like I don't I don't change my life around when somebody's streaming. Live my life, and then when I have free time, I just log on and see who's live. and pick somebody that's live, right? Like I
Right.
consume it when I have the time to consume it.
Mhm.
So to me, I don't care when you're live. What I'm going to do is when I have time to watch, I'm going to see if who's live and pick somebody and watch them. Right?
But the
Like
thing we have to remember is our perception isn't available. I'll sometimes
you're
buy people before I even start.
you're cutting out real bad there. What was that?
Um, I don't know. I'm getting a bunch of Discord notifications right now. I don't know if that's why, but at any rate, um, our perception isn't necessarily always the right perception or an accurate perception. Um, just that's not how everybody does it. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure.
There's times where I'll start my stream and I'm 10 minutes into it, just video, and it's my beginning stream, and I'll get 5, 6 people because they got a notification because they saw my note on my tweet. Or
Mm,
today, actually, I started posting on Smoke.io, which is it's like Steam, but it's like a fork off of it. It's kind of like it. Blah 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 blah. I posted on there, and I had a guy come into my stream because he saw that post. You know,
mm.
I don't know. I was hoping that would happen, but for somebody to actually never that I've seen around, but I've never seen them in my stream, and then them come in and be like, "Yo, I saw your post." You know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're all different. Yeah, we're all
Sure,
different.
sure. Yeah, I like the idea though that if you wanted the ability to see, hey, for Wednesday evenings and Friday evenings, what's available? Well, right now you wouldn't know. There's no way to find out unless, like I do, you just show up on Wednesday and
Hmm.
Friday and hope there's something available.
Right.
So I could see a real like no. Is there a streaming platform that does that? It doesn't. I don't
No, and
know.
see, I had a friend, John Olson. I saw him on his first stream back when D Live had like a 45-second delay, and the chat was on the blockchain, so the chat was even worse. Um, I was on D Live when there was 3 people streaming, man. I'm not exaggerating. Um, this guy came on, he started streaming, he was doing a talk show. I was one of the first people on there. He ended up doing a show every single Monday. He's still on Steam. He's posting content daily on Steam, and he's like he's highly reputable on the platform now, you know. And it's just like he did a show every Monday at 8 o'clock, and I did could to watch it, to be there, to be the first every Monday at 8 o'clock. I enjoyed it. The show is incredibly entertaining. And if you do a schedule and you have a short burst of a show like that's entertaining, people are going to make a habit of watching you. You know,
For sure.
we're incredible creatures of habit. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's a good point. When I first started this show, it was every Sunday. It was, and that was part of the name, Sunday Fireside Chats. But what I realized, and I had, like you were saying, a more regular audience. But to get in all the streamers I wanted to get in, I had to change my parameters of availability. And I definitely noticed a change in viewership when I started moving the shows around to whatever day the streamer could make it versus insisting it being Sunday.
mhm.
But for me, knowing that I could put the videos on demand, right, on YouTube, that then it was like, well, I don't care necessarily if I have everybody in the audience or not. I can't because all the people that want to watch it are all over the world, and some of them are asleep, and some of them are at work, right? Some of them have families. So
Mhm.
even though I am a live streamer, when I do this show, I'm doing it with the intention of it being a video on demand, right? Like that you could
Mhm.
watch later or share with somebody else or that sort of thing.
Right.
So it's an interesting, it's like a whole new genre, right? Like
Mhm. Well,
live
that's
live streaming to create video on demand. I don't know. It's
I've always talked about that, Joe. I've always talked about what can I do to bring live content that's entertaining both live and as something you watch.
Mm.
That's the secret. That's the secret sauce, man. You figure that one out because much of the value, as somebody said it in chat earlier, was oh, okay, just can't bring themselves to watch a VOD. You know, a lot of people are like that. There, you want to be able to chat with them if they bring a point. Like we want to be able to like say something in regards to that. So it's
Mm.
definitely you got to bring the value. You got to be more concise, or I don't know the formula, but I've always wanted to tap into that. I like. I used to do chill and chats every Wednesday or something. And then there was a panel talk show afterwards. So like I would have my
Mm.
interview show and then we would transition to the panel talk show. So it was like rather than us like overlapping, I just got to the point where I just started joining them and that was part of my show was just joining their panel.
Hmm.
Kind of cross it helped interject people into the show,
Well,
or to
that's
bring them into it, and those kinds of shows I feel have value outside of the live streaming, but you got to
mm,
bring it.
that's actually part of why too I was moving my podcast away from Sundays was because that's when Fatheaded Noob was doing his talk show and panel, and I
Okay,
wanted to watch. You know what?
right.
Like I didn't want to compete with him. I wanted to watch him,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's funny because when you do get used to a certain show and then now it's not available, that sucks, right? Like
Yeah.
you feel a lot like a genuine loss.
Hmm.
Um, what I would like to see happen, which I haven't yet, but right, like I have people watch me live that then go watch some of the videos on demand from previous shows. But what I haven't had happen yet that I'm aware of, which I would like to see happen, is people watch my video on demand shows on YouTube and then have a desire to come watch me live so that they can interact. I think
Right.
that's kind of like,
Well, you're leaving breadcrumbs, right? You're leaving
yeah,
breadcrumbs for people to find
yeah,
you.
yeah, but also in a bigger way and more of like a cultural anthropology kind of a thought process for me is can I bring them the other way around, right? Like I know they find me live and then I can send them to that, but can they find me as like a pre-recorded thing and that would that create a desire in them to interact with me live? I
Right.
think the answer is yes, but so far the evidence hasn't proven that.
Hmm. Well, people love their platforms, man. People love their platforms. We're creatures of routine. I don't like for me the thought of socializing on YouTube, ugh. And then I go over there and there's incredible communities on YouTube.
Hmm.
There's people
Hmm.
that are world renowned for their comments, man. They have like fans because they make funny comments, dude. It's a
Really?
wild world we're living in. Yes.
What a
Just
trip.
the one guy's name's Justin. He's like incredibly ironically, he uses his avatar is the same ninja that we use because it's like copyrighted artwork or something like that. And like I'm pretty sure D Live's paid for the ability to use that little ninja that they use.
Mm.
I want to say it's like a guy named Justin or something. Like he posts on YouTube. Yeah, it's incredible. I
Wow.
mean, it's a wild world we're living in, Joe.
I I just here to hang out, man.
Right.
Like I don't care if people know who I am or I don't care if they give me money or buy my shit. Like I don't even have any shit for them to buy. Right? Like I made 10 of these cups to support Epic Merch OC, right, in what he
Yeah,
was doing, and I've given most of them away. And actually I use some like 3 of them. Like I've got another one right here with something else in it. And there's a black one over
beautiful.
there in the strainer. Right? Like I don't know.
What Woozle knows what I'm talking about. You get a just comment, you made it. Yeah. See, they know. See, people that like you. He doesn't make videos.
Well,
He
that's
makes
true.
comments.
That's true, Bayou. I do have books, but I give my books away too. I print them out and give them away. I give away the digital copies for free. Like I don't know. I feel like if you trade your time for money, it starts to affect why you're doing things, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm letting my streaming be affected by my desire for gaining something from it, I think it would change who I am and what I'm streaming and why I'm streaming, right? So if I wrote books to sell to make money, I would be putting different information in them, right? I would be
Hmm.
putting information in them that I know people would buy. Instead, I'm actually trying to share useful information,
That
which,
might not necessarily be monetized.
right, it definitely isn't.
Sure.
Like, as an author, the only way to really make money commercially is to say something that they approve of you saying and continue to put out the same book over and over and over and over and over.
Hmm.
They don't want, like, I have 10 books, they're all different. That doesn't sell well. They don't know how to market me, right? So it's not commercially successful. I'm not trying to be commercially successful. Right
Hmm.
now, if a book caught, sweet, right? I'll make a chunk of money real quick and pay off my land or something. Okay. But that's not why I do it. And the same thing with streaming, right? I don't want to be consumed by the money side or cryptocurrency side or incent and all these different things. Or I don't like I just want to be chill. I want to relax. I want to provide
Hmm.
low stress entertainment where we could just hang out like you and me, smoke a joint, have a conversation. That's it. I'm not, I don't have ulterior motives here. I just wanted to
Right.
hang out and have a good conversation with a guy I know has been a part of D Live for years
Hmm.
and is part of the family.
Yeah, D Live and myself, it was always a really good matchup because that was just me going out there naturally meeting new people and hanging out with them, and I really enjoyed streaming. Streaming was so new to me and I was just eating it all up. Um yeah. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, man. And it's I was talking to some people earlier, like something y'all may not know about me, and it's actually only something I've recently even been mentioning was I kind of want to do open mic stand up,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure how well I'm gonna do or anything. Like I've always felt it's been incredibly pretentious to put yourself in that situation to say, "Oh, look at me. I'm here to make you laugh. You're gonna laugh now." I am so sure of myself that I'm gonna come up here and say random grunting noises. It's strung together, and you're gonna like I'm gonna make you laugh. It's like kind of pretentious, but at the same time, it's like it's like yeah, that's what you do. You go up and you make laugh. Like, do it like that. That's just been my own humbleness and insecurities
Hmm.
of saying like like no, I don't want the spotlight, and it's like I never did streaming because I wanted the spotlight. You know, Never wanted to do that. Never thought I would, So to feel that I have so much fun at it and it just gives me hope. Like, you know what? Let's try something else now. Maybe I'll start making and editing videos. Let's make more content. Let's get up on stage. Let's see if we can make some people laugh. Like I have no clue if I can do it. I honestly have no clue if I can do it. But
I don't think that's important, whether you can or can't. I think the doing is the important part.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's I I've been kind of talking is I've always been more to fail than scared of being a failure.
Hmm.
I kind of said that earlier a little bit was so what if you fail? Like the goal is to not be a failure, but you are going to be a failure if you're so scared you're not even failing. You know what I mean?
Hmm. I could
So
see
that's
that.
that's
I
that's been kind of guiding me
That
recently.
seems like a lot of stress, though. Like in terms of worrying about it. You know what I mean? Like
Sure, sure.
it's
Well, it's as a
it.
person who's always let excuses get in my way of not doing it, I figure
Mm.
like I'll use whatever I can to get me something.
I just feel I found like the kind of the hard way too. It's like I would rather do something and be wrong than not do something because I was afraid I was going to be wrong.
Mm,
I'd rather just do something. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm doing something. I'm not
right.
just I'm not hoping things are going to change. I'm taking an active role in changing them. And that's when I started thinking like that, that's since then my life has been getting better. And I have made some mistakes, but far, far fewer mistakes, right? Than when I was overthinking things.
Hmm.
Just go for it, man. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's a paralysis by analysis, and that's
right?
I've only recently been working out of that.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure, man. Definitely easy to overthink things. Well,
I
hey, we've been here for 3 hours and 15 minutes. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Nice,
That's pretty
nice.
wild. So,
That's one of the longer ones I've noticed, right?
yeah, there's been a few go over 4 hours, but mainly they're around 2 hours, 2.5
Right.
hours.
Got to
Um,
keep the energy high, you know.
yeah, but I just wanted to offer anybody in the chat, you guys have been hanging out for hours. If you have questions for myself or Eric Wilson, feel free to go ahead and start funneling them into chat. Primarily, this is about Eric, so if you guys want to chat and ask me questions, we can do that another time. But if you have questions for Eric about D Live or about himself or streaming, go ahead and funnel them in. Um, I have a question for Eric.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any favorite strains?
Ooh.
I didn't ask him that before because I wanted his real answer.
Yeah, you
Yeah, yeah. Now, don't
I have nostalgic strains for sure. Sour diesel, blueberry
I know
kush.
what you mean by that. It's nostalgic because, like,
Some of the first medical I've ever smoked was sour diesel and you know, a quarter of it. I was a heavy smoker and a quarter of it forever just because it got me so high, you know. I prefer the sativa side.
Mm.
As I smoke, I have a hybrid and sativa or a hybrid and indica accessible to me. So it is kind of nice just chiefing on a bunch of indica and helping me sleep, going to sleep early.
I prefer a sativa dominant blend. I
Hmm.
find I like having both the sativa and indica effects, right? Helps with the mind and the body. But I'd
Sure.
rather have it heavier sativa because I like I'm a productive stoner, right? Like I get stoned
Hmm.
so I can do things. Um, and I think the people who stone just to chill out, those are the indica. That's the indica crowd.
Well, for me, certainly, I if I smoke a heavy sativa, I can't even sleep, man. I'm already like,
Oh
I don't
yeah,
need any help. I don't need any help thinking more. You know what I mean?
right. I
So
definitely understand that.
indica is nice. Indica helps slow me down, man, and that's what I need. I just need more ability to direct my thoughts, and sativas don't always help with that nearly as much as indica.
I get it. I mean, I've always been like if I just had to pick something on the fly, I would say like OG Kush, right? Like since I've
Hmm.
been smoking, that's been around and it's worked. And there's diesel, right? And there was a push in, for a while about everything had to be purple, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Which is silly,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
but you know which is actually the ruderalis part, right? Like you can auto flower and you can add color and but it doesn't actually change the what it does for you, the indica or sativa portion of it.
Right, right.
Anyway, what are you smoking on today? I've got
Uh,
some cookies. They call it cookies.
I actually have peyote cookies. That's what I'm smoking on.
It's called wait, it's not peyote though, right? It's
No,
called
it's not peyote. It's just called peyote cookie.
so I'm smoking cookies and you're smoking peyote cookies. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, cheers.
yeah. You know, I got a one up. No.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
You know what I've noticed is having a street dealer far less waste than having to go to dispensary, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, dude. I have like I just switch out jars with them.
Right. And
There's
when you go
no
to
waste. We're not messing with
dispensary,
plastic bags, nothing, dude.
yeah, there's bags, there's containers, there's labels, there's so much plastic involved with
Yeah.
the legal weed. I don't get that.
You should be able to just bring your own jar, dude.
Yeah, I'll bring a jar, you put weed in it,
Yep.
give me a receipt, right, to keep it legal, and I'll go home and there won't be any waste. And like even my place here goes, well, we'll recycle them. I don't want to drive around with empty weed containers in my car, especially
Right.
not a collection of them. And it's still e-waste. It's or plastic waste. It still has to be disposed of. And guess what they're doing, Eric? This is what blows my mind. They're taking a new plastic bag to put my old plastic containers into. Right? Like there's
Yeah.
more plastic. If I bring it back, they use even more plastic.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
what are we
There's
doing?
the local dispensary. I remember they used to sell bottles, and they would, if you brought in 10 back, they'd give you a free roll or something like that.
I've heard of that kind of stuff too, but can they reuse them? Like, can they sanitize them and reuse them,
I
or
mean,
is that like?
fuck, I mean, that's why else would they be doing it but to reuse? Saying like, I feel like they must have been reusing them
But
just to try to
like
save
as a
money,
medical
or
thing, that sounds illegal.
exactly. I don't know, dude.
Like,
I
I don't
don't
want to
know.
be the one to point
This
fingers, but
No, this place is rinky dink, anyways, man. They like, like I saw him like, oh my god, I saw him just like park in the side of the place and walk through the front door with a bunch of weed, just like walking through. It's like, dude, don't you have a back door for that?
well, when I remember the first medical marijuana card I got was in 2003, and it was in San Diego, and it was like right when they were talking about, do we issue state identification cards for medical marijuana or not? And this one dispensary I went to issued a plastic ID card for the medical marijuana. It was the first place to do that, right? And now states it's a common thing, but this dispensary took it upon itself. And I thought, wow,
Okay.
it's so awesome and so legitimate, right? So then you go in, you buy your weed, you could sit on the couch and smoke it right there. Like they had a vaporizer on turned to 420 degrees so you could
Right.
vape your weed in the building, right? Well, then the feds got involved and they're like, yeah, you can't consume your medicine on the premises. Like that's not right. Like you can't go to the pharmacy, get your pills, and stand there and take them like as a thing.
Right. Yeah, they're not fans of that generally.
Right. And I was like, okay, well, I've only ever had marijuana as medicine. So I would go get it from the dispensary, take it home, use it like medicine, and then not tell anybody. You know what I mean? I wasn't driving around with joints or pipes. I wasn't having circles with other people smoking weed, right? Like it, now I do now and I have because it's a social thing, but I did like my introduction to it was medicine.
Hmm.
So I still can't help but say I call it medicine. When I'm talking about marijuana, I very regularly just say medicine instead of weed or marijuana or something.
Hmm.
And people that know me know what I'm talking about, right? Because some of them use the same medicine.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know. Did we get questions? Let's see.
I don't know.
I think they're all just agreeing that weed's awesome.
So yeah,
And beer.
here's the thing. You know how any group of people, like what makes the people, those people in that group, is like what you end up hating about the, it's
Okay, okay.
like I love smoking weed. I hate people that smoke weed, man. There's people that like they just they just gotta be like, yo, Bob Marley, yo, hey man, I'm gonna smoke this joint in your face. Like, yo, we gotta smoke this bowl here. I'm gonna smoke this bowl driving down the road, steering with my knee. Bro,
Yes.
we're 3 minutes away from home. Get
Yes.
us home safe. No, man, I got it, bro. You're in the middle of the fucking road,
Like,
around the corner. Like, just wait till we get home. Like, it's like
yes.
it's more about the act of having to do it and having to like, rather than just enjoying it and just You know what I mean? It's like,
I know exactly what you like. I put it this
so
way. I've gotten into a friend of mine's. I won't say the guy's name. I almost did just then though. I
I'm
got
glad you
into a
did.
friend's car and it was it was like a crime scene. I was like, I'm not, I literally got back out. I was like, okay, first of all, there's an empty whiskey bottle in the back seat. There are empty beer cans in the front passenger floorboard. There are multiple half burnt joints like sticking out of the ashtray and it's open. Right? Like there's just there's baggies with weed in them. I'm like, this is a fucking rolling crime lab. Oh,
Yeah.
and he had like a small arsenal of guns in the back, like
Yeah, man,
a
like,
lot of
dude,
guns and ammo. Right, so
one
guns,
crime at a
ammo,
time.
whiskey. Right, yeah. Like, what the
One crime
fuck
at a
are
time.
you doing? Can't
One
you
crime
see
at a time,
any of
dude.
this? Like, I'm
I
not gonna ride around with you like that.
I just know, like, listen, dude, the what do you think's gonna happen? Like, dude, I got pulled over once for looking like a car that somebody got in a domestic a fight with their girlfriend or something, and they're driving the same car as me. So I got pulled over just to make sure it wasn't me because they're looking for this guy. Like, it was one of those, like, he's in the area, same car, pull over. You know what I mean? And the guy was like moving out of his house, and my car full of shit in the back. It looked like I was moving. You know what I mean? If I was smoking a joint, I'd have been fucked. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't
Mhm.
doing anything wrong. Like, there's just, to me, like, I know a lot of people, some of the people I know advocate for politics the most are the biggest closeted anarchists I know. They don't give a fuck about the law, but they'd vote to make you follow the law, but they don't follow it. They do
Mm.
whatever the fuck they want because they're not hurting anybody, so they don't see anything wrong with it. And then, anyways, like, it just, why flip that coin, man? Why flip that coin on the fact that, like, just saying I'm never gonna get pulled over? Like, I'm never, like, your house isn't your domicile, man. It's not like they need a warrant. I mean, yeah, they need a warrant, but they don't need a warrant. Probable cause is a hell of a drug, man.
I was gonna say, there's there's ways of making you talk.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Do you,
like,
do you know do you know why I wish to self-incriminate yourself?
yeah. Would
Like,
you
they're
like
not.
to make a verbal contract with the state? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. Anyway, what we're trying to say is do like us and just smoke weed at the house, and when you're not busy, right? Like, go to a park, smoke a fucking joint, watch the birds fly around and chirp. It's great, right? Like,
Fuck
go
yeah.
home, lay on the couch, have a smoke, watch a movie, relax,
Mhm.
enjoy it. Don't drive with your knee and smoke down Main Street. It's
Yeah,
irresponsible,
man.
it's distracting, it's stupid. You're going to burn holes in your pants when the seeds pop.
And that's the kind of shit that
Like,
gives a bad name for all of us, man, when that kind of shit happens, so
yep. I remember one of my exes said her ex in college smoked so much weed in his car that if he was out of weed, he would take his driver's license, scrape the windshield, and have enough to put in a bowl and smoke. Like, just from what was collecting on the inside of the windshield. I was like, "Are you shitting me?" Dude, I've seen. I had I really I stiff. Dude, listen. I respect this guy a lot. This is a different story, but it's a guy that I respected a lot. We went through this organization together, right? I thought very highly of him. Then we're hanging out one evening, and we're going to a club. We're gonna have a couple beers. We're gonna watch a live band play some music. He's very excited to introduce me to his buddy's band, right? Well, we pull up in the parking lot on a busy road, cars everywhere. He pulls cocaine out of his pocket, puts it on his cell phone, uses his driver's license to put it into lines, has some, offers it to me. And I'm like, wait, what? Why? Who are you? What's happening right now? Let me the fuck out of this car. You're committing felonies in public. Like, And he goes, "No, no, this is in California where you go, oh, no, no, it's super fucking common here. Don't even worry about it. Nobody cares. Everybody's doing it." I was like, "You're using, if a cop stops you, they ask for your driver's license and cell phones. They're getting a hold of your cell phones, right?
You got cocaine all
They're
over.
covered in cocaine." Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, I don't
Right.
understand how people don't see that, right? Like, are you trying to exist in this society or not? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
want people fucking with me. So I'm going to do what I need to do to get through society, right? And if I want to drink and smoke, I'm doing that shit in the privacy of my own home.
Right.
Like, I don't get it. Anyway, don't do drugs, kids.
It's a wild world out there, man. Wild world.
Well, I don't have any other questions. I'm having a good time, but I don't know what else to talk about, man.
I had a story and I got high, but I forgot
And
about
then
it.
I got high.
Yeah.
That's a story. That's one I've told.
Yeah.
Weren't we gonna do something? I don't know. I
You know,
forget.
if I don't know how you normally handle it. To, assume anything one way or another. As far as the chest, is there any way that I could sponsor the chest?
I'm not sure what that means. You want to give Lino to people?
Can I
Just
give you some lino and then you can put it in the chest
I just wanted to see if you were gonna say Lino.
or lemons?
Yes, yeah. Well, I have some on me. How much? What are we talking about?
I don't know, a couple hundred.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'll match whatever you add. How about
All
that?
right. One, two, three.
All right. So Eric's gonna toss 300 to give to you fine folks. So I'll add 300 to that. All right. So there's 600
And
lemons.
then let it simmer too. See if you get any follows.
Oh, don't be that. Look, we lost. Look, we just lost half our viewers because we're gonna give
Oh, we're
them
bribing
lemons.
them. We're bribing
And
them.
we literally cut our numbers in half. I should have added, 4.8 more, so it'd be 666 we're giving away just so
Oof.
somebody could talk about it.
Oof. Fleek and Vector, I think they wanted to get in on the sponsorship, but that's all right.
Yeah, wait, you guys aren't supposed to give me the lemons back until you get them in the first place.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you're not supposed. Wait, let me rephrase that. You're not supposed to give them back, which I guess technically they haven't. Weirdo. Welcome to the club. There we go. All right, we gave away some Lino.
Oh yeah.
No, we didn't. It was
What?
lemons. You still don't
Yeah.
know. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
just
BTT.
you
It's gonna
can't,
be BTT soon.
you
Whatever.
can't get good help. Dude, I give up. I'm tapping out. I've requested all my locked Lino in lemons. I'm cashing it out in dollars. I'm gonna use it to help close on my house.
Excellent. Great,
Yeah,
man.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm going, well, I could worry about giving it to somebody I don't trust, or I could use it to buy the place I'm living and streaming from.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that instead. Makes sense. So what do I
Yeah,
do with
man.
these BTT? You don't have any BTTs.
Not
Don't
yet.
don't lie. You don't have any BTTs, Boozle. We know. We know. Can I make lemonade with BTT? No, but you can with lemons. Ah, we just gave you some. Yeah, Tuna. I'm trying to keep them honest. All right, guys. Let me wrap up the show real quick, Mr. Eric, and I'll be right back with you. You want to say goodbye to all these beautiful people?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. It's been a lot of fun.
He
Take
streams
care.
generally in the evenings, Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Standards on the East
Eight,
Coast of the United States.
yeah, yeah. Eight to midnight. And yeah.
Oh, dude, my computer just froze.
Oh.
You know what that means? It means it may have just ended the stream for us.
Oh no.
No, that's fine.
It's still playing on my side.
I know, but my computer is locked up on this side. Sorry, guys. I have a shit Radeon gaming PC from Best Buy. Don't buy one, okay? Yeah, it's
still the stream's still playing.
okay. There we go. Oh, I'm
Yep,
back.
it's smooth
Well,
on the side.
what's funny is on my side, all the screens go black, and I just have to wait till it comes back to see if I'm still streaming or not.
I gotcha. Yep, no, it's smooth the whole time, man.
Awesome. All right. Woohoo. Anyway,
Cool.
that's part of streaming, right?
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, and the muted mic.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget that.
Wait, is it? Am I? Oh, okay. I was like, am I? Because
no, I'm just saying that's what we do.
I do it all the time.
Yep.
All right. All right. Let me say goodbye. I'll be right back with you, Eric.
All right.
All right, guys. So that's been another fireside chat. Obviously, a little different than what we normally do, but it was necessary. It was necessary. All right. Sometimes you got to X tag and smoke weed and just talk. So I appreciate you guys being here. I love you all. Thanks for hanging out. I had a great time. I've been wanting to get Eric on the show for a while, so it was super sweet that finally lined up. And now I'm going to hook you up with somebody else that's been on the platform for a while. And for a while, I mean, he's old and he's been on every platform ever. Fat-headed noob. We're going to drop him a host.